Okay, earbuds are not older than that. Wish I could hide that darn bear.
There you are.
Hey,
I can hear you.
Crikey.
And you can figure out what right click is, how to get a context menu. You can turn off non-camera participants, but I don't know what that interface is on a touchscreen.
it's called turn off non-camera participants.
Yeah, I believe the option on it's show non-video participants is
Yeah.
the menu option. You get it on the context menu on somebody's video feed. You can't just click in the null space. It's got to be on a video feed, whether or not it has a camera. This guy
Oh well, I thought I'd give one more
doesn't
try.
need to be there anymore.
I
Cool.
have to run without video tonight. I'm sorry.
All right. I am sympathetic to technical difficulties.
Doesn't make any sense. This is the only. Yeah. I don't know. All right.
All right. Let me get you going. Getting that. And we're getting that. Flatten that though. Let's not do that.
No Katie tonight.
She should be here. She's just running a little late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought. Oh,
I was trying to remember where we left off, but I was thinking it was in this hotel lobby.
probably. I think when we left off, it amounted to just wrapping up after talking to Larkin end of the day. So we can roll in sleeping overnight and whatnot into it, and it'll be Sunday.
Perfect. While we're waiting, is anybody indulging in the Lord of the Rings series that's out on Amazon right now?
Yeah.
Oh
It's
man,
weird.
gobbling it up.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're watching it with the kids actually. They're just old enough where it's like, yeah, pretty gory, but it's fine.
It's no HBO show.
Which I'm also watching, and it'll be a while before we're watching that all together.
You guys watching House of the Dragon as well?
Yeah, I am. Which,
There's
I mean, they're really delivering on the whole dragon part of it.
no doubt.
man. And the last one, there was a lot of just battle dragon stuff. It was so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a little confused when the second dragon came out of nowhere. I was like,
There's all sorts of dragons. They've got a whole little
yeah.
dragons. Yeah.
Sorry if anybody else is waiting for the season to come out. I didn't mean to spoil anything.
There's a dragon, then there's a second dragon. I mean, I guess not
There are a couple dragons.
spoiler.
It's not called House of the Dragons for no reason.
Right. Like, I think people were waiting a long time on, during Game of Thrones. Like, come on, when are the dragons gonna get big enough to like do something cool?
Right.
You had a whole season and one small dragon burned one guy, and it was like, it's the coolest thing ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like easily my favorite part of the show. Well, second favorite part of the show outside of Rhaenyra just being a badass.
She's awesome.
She's so cool. Is just like constant dragon battles, just constant dragons just burning people up.
Yep.
And the scene in the last one, like the very beginning when they're in the crab feeders like battle pits or whatever, and they're like nailing them to the whatever they're nailing them to. And he's like, "My prince, I'm saved." And the dragon just
Yeah. Squash. Yeah.
he's like, "Psych."
You're in the middle of a dragon battle. Like, no, it's not coming to save you.
Okay. Well, Katie is en route. She has asked us to get started. Where she's at right now. So actually, before diving into anything, just a couple things I wanted to touch on to sort of highlight differences between this and D&D as a system. Basically, to give you guys more tools, or to remind you of tools you've got to help with the rolling and the plotting and the clues and whatnot. It is totally kosher for you to explain to me which skill you want to use to accomplish some goal. Like, totally fine with that. If that skill isn't going to work for whatever reason, it is also totally fine for you to try and shift the scene to a different location or different time where that will be a skill that works better for you. Like, that's a chunk of it. You can drive a lot of that. Some things, obviously not. If you're in the middle of combat, there's only so much you can do. Your dodge is your dodge. But in terms of talking to people or looking for something, whatever else, if it seems like you need to charm a guy at a door and you don't have a whole lot in charm, well, maybe we can go outside and you can look for a window and locksmith the window or whatever. Like, feel free to try and shift the scene to something more beneficial to you. I will also count on you to remind me about the concept of the idea roll. If you're feeling stuck, the game has a mechanic to like prompt you with a roll. Like, here's a thing. Shouldn't be used all the time because a lot of the fun is you guys figuring things out, obviously. But if we're just stalled out, like, you all realize I have no idea what we need to do next or what's going on, you can ask for an idea roll. I'll have to look up the exact mechanics, but it amounts to it's roughly an int roll, I think. And if you succeed at it, you get just a clue, like, here's a thing. If you fail at it, you get a clue, but also get dumped into something. Like, yeah, you realize you need to get into the basement of the jail to talk to this guy. On a success, you just find that out. Like, this is what you need to do. Go plan. On a failure, well, you figured that out and you broke in, except you didn't check for the guards first. So now you're kind of surrounded.
So on a failure, you still get that.
Yep.
Something to move the plot forward, but
yes, some kind of consequence.
Does the degree of failure or success matter as well?
Outside of, well, for success, I'll play that by ear. Like, I will try and give more for better successes, but in a lot of cases, it'll just be, yeah, the next thing you want to look at, or this clue that you didn't realize was important. Here's this thing. I don't have much more than that to give you in that case.
Right.
On a failure, the only degree I'll care about is a complete fumble. And even then, depending what it is, it may not matter. Then psychology as a skill is essentially insight for Call of Cthulhu. So can be requested at any time, talking to anyone. Like, yeah, so what do I think about what this guy is saying? And give you a psychology roll, just like any other skill. And finally, and this is on the list, not like to set a mood or anything of the kind, but because I had forgotten, if in combat you take sufficient damage that you would in fact die, if you have at least 30 luck points left, you can spend all your luck and survive.
Ooh.
You then have to explain what happened with all your luck to make you survive whatever this was. That's going to be up to you. Like, so yeah, I fell 15,000 feet out of a plane, and what happened exactly? Like I said, that was just because I was reminded of that rule as part of the pulp rule set, and I am likely to forget it if it comes up. It is not because I have a dozen vampires waiting outside a door for you that are planning to kill you. That's not the deal here.
But then, yes, we remembered we had the inflatable raft in the backpack and used that to fall to our something.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. However the luck works out, that'll be your task. Like, well, oh cool, you totally survived. What happened exactly? You fell into a volcano. What did just massive updraft off the line? Like, I don't know what happened. And really, at that point, that's pure like 30s serial pulp rules. So at that explanation, anything like that goes. How did the hero survive at the end of this 10-minute serial when death was certain?
Right.
Next one starts like, the car swerved to the left. No, it didn't. We saw it. Not yet. Sure. Yes, they lost control of the car and missed me.
Spiral wipe. Spiral wipe. Everybody stop.
Exactly. Yeah. So those last few things are much broader. The things I mostly wanted to get across are: please drive me towards the skills you would like to use. Drive me to the stuff you're good at to help you out. I will try and make that work. I'm not here to fight you on it. And psychology rolls as a thing. All right. All that said, Katie is finding citations. I'm now juggling. So when we left off, you had just talked to Larkin about D. Mendoza's attack on the professor and your chase and arguably murder of him in a back alley in Lima. You don't feel like it's murder, presumably. But to anybody who is not totally up on the Karasiri and possibly being a real thing that sucks fat out of its victims, you just chased a dude into a back alley and killed him. So, that's a thing. Yeah, right. Afterwards, you talk to Larkin. You're in the hotel lobby. You should take a moment to review the document you found in the basement of the museum, since that was a thing you hadn't really taken a chance to examine in any great detail. So you'll want to review that first, and then we can decide what we want to do from there. Anything from real quick, we're going to say you've probably finished up with Larkin very early evening on Saturday, so 4 or 5 p.m. on Saturday. After that, we can do whatever you'd like. Skip to Sunday if you've got stuff you want to do during the day. Play out the rest of Saturday, or skip all the way to Monday morning. If there's nothing else you can think of that you want to do and you just want to get to the expedition, that can be totally up to you guys. But you should review the information you have currently first before you formulate a plan.
Did we ever actually open the letter? Do
No,
we have it logged, or is it just sitting in my pocket still?
it's in your pocket.
I
Awesome.
think
Did you put it up at the
I was
end?
checking.
I believe I set it so that you can see it. Yes, you should all be able to see it as Carlisle Papers 3 in journals.
Why is mine blank?
It'll be on the image tab, not the text tab.
Ah, that makes sense.
I can also just do this to bring it up for you immediately. But you should also be able to see it, like on demand.
Journal directory, Carlisle Papers. The image tab. What is the image tab?
If you open a journal
In
entry,
Masks, Peru, Carlisle Papers 3.
yep. And
Why
if
is
you
mine-
open that
Yeah.
journal entry, since there's only an image, I don't remember, at the title bar, you'll either get options for text and image, or you might not, since there isn't any text on that one.
Yeah.
I'm not getting an image for some reason.
I've just got the option to pop out, and when I do, it says pop in, close.
Cool.
No image.
And you're not seeing an image when you open it?
I am not.
Okay. Let's try this again.
Some new things happened.
Yeah, close it and open it and see if you can see anything now.
I've got a text option. I've got an image option. It is still blank with.
All right, so if I show it to you, do you see it? If I hit that,
No.
I see the screen pop up, but there's no image there.
I mean, that has more than the prior one did.
Yeah, it says Carlisle Papers 3 at the top as a title, and then it shows the directory at the bottom where you've got it saved.
cool. I wonder if the image is just not downloading to you for some reason. So I've got another browser window open for the viewer, and it's showing up in that screen. So mechanically, some portion of it is working, but you're just not getting the image. All right, let me see if I can
Can't see that.
score a transcript of it in text that I can just put in chat for you.
Ah, I refreshed. It worked.
Okay.
Maybe.
I seem to recall it working last time. I know somebody had opened it and was reading it, so it was working. I don't know why it might not be right now. That's a cool feature.
Feature or a bug? What's the difference?
Same thing. We don't have bugs, we have unplanned features.
Exactly.
Happy little accidents.
We did read this last time. I do remember this.
Actually, yeah, while you're going with that, give me a second. I just dumped drink on my desk.
Wish I could get the text version of it. I can't get this to enlarge.
Yeah, I had to control and hit my roller.
I tried that and everything else got big except for that. Unless maybe I do a pop-up. Pop-out, not sure. No.
It's interesting that
This is the image.
the third paragraph down, it says that he was enticed by a seductive voice telling him to come back to the temple.
Sorry about that. I am klutzing it up. Are we all eventually able to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have just pulled this out and kind of like laid it on a coffee table so all of us could read it.
Excellent.
But basically, it's saying that de Mendoza's been around since the 1500s at least.
Yeah. And the interesting part in paragraph 3 where he says Figueroa, I don't know how to yeah,
Figueroa?
Gaspar Figueroa was like hearing voices telling him to come back to the temple for eternal life. I wonder if de Mendoza was hearing the same thing. But Figueroa died, de Mendoza died, so De Velasco, and there are a few more that still may be alive from this conquest. Interesting. Pretty in-depth last will and testament from Figueroa from the priest, secondhand. And the wealthy benefactor slash exploration lead, what was his name again?
That
Augustus Larkin.
Larkin, that's right. And Larkin just basically took his exit and went back up to his room.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Larkin is the lead. De Mendoza is his aide de camp.
And Larkin's all sick and
Was
creepy looking, but he's saying it's malaria, and he does have like he had puncture wounds, like from needles or something.
wasn't malaria contagious?
It's spread through mosquitoes. Like one person can't spread it to another person. So.
It's not bloodborne.
I suspect blood contact would do it, but aside from that, no. Like, yeah, it's a parasite. So if you got a transfusion of malarial blood, you'd get malaria. But aside from that, it's just mosquitoes.
Yeah, I think the parasite has to like live in the gut of a mosquito or something before it can, like, the mosquito has to be involved. I don't know if.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the highest chance you have, you got like a transfusion of malarial blood might do it. But yeah, you're not going to pick it up from someone else in the normal course of events.
Yeah. Well, I know that Wentworth, in the time waiting for the expedition to take course, is going to be extremely interested to get back to the school, the college, because he stashed that worm thing in the basement and wants to make sure that cops aren't getting their heads chewed off by a worm.
As you say that, Jackson is reading over this letter and sort of pauses and puts his finger down into the second paragraph and looks up at you, Lois, and says, "Prying out a large section of gold. You found a section of gold, right?"
Right. Yeah. It's in the box, right? That Miss Rizzo's body, or what was her name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there was gold in the box. Did I grab it?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
exhausting himself in the attempt.
with the funny it had markings on it, and I pull it out and put it onto the top of the letter.
No, you don't have it anymore because you showed it to the cops and then
Yeah.
left it at the school.
Oh.
there are two options here. One is the removal is sort of like a Pirates of the Caribbean-esque type thing where you remove the gold pieces of it, whatever it was, and you get cursed. So the people who removed it get cursed, or the people that are holding it get cursed. Are you feeling hungry, Lois?
Do I feel hungry? For blood.
No, fat.
Oh wait, for fat, sorry.
Jackson shakes his head like, now if it affected all of them, it's not just holding it, at the very least.
But I did touch it. No.
Hmm.
Maybe there's markings on it or something. I don't know if that's some sort of language or
That night they rested evil.
I don't know.
And so
Should we get it back? Does the police have it now, or is it still with the professor? The professor. Yeah.
You don't know.
this,
You left it in the professor's office.
this took a whole night of them removing it, holding on to it, and then sleeping and waking up, and then they look bad. Have we taken a night's rest and now it's the next morning?
You haven't.
No.
Okay.
But at that point, Jackson shakes his head and says, it doesn't. If you're going to curse the treasure in a pyramid to curse anyone who takes it away, why would you curse the thing that has to be pried out of the wall instead of the stuff people are likely to pick up?
Point. Maybe it's important.
Yeah, it must be important for something, but if it's just treasure prevention, I'd think you'd get cursed when you got near it, or they'd have cursed gold coins or the stuff that the average person picks up. Not something you have to do construction work to take with you.
Good point.
Maybe it's part of a. You've seen the wall hieroglyphics and whatnot. Oh wait, you're not an archaeologist anymore. But it paints a picture, tells a story or something. It's a complete thing. Maybe this is a missing piece of something and that should not have been tampered with.
Or maybe it's the punchline, or like the end of the story.
Or maybe
And you are cursed. That's what it says in writing.
maybe there was something gross buried behind the wall, and they let the bad juju out.
Well, if there's writing on it, we better not read it, because that's how witches get you.
Jackson looks at you, Lois, and sort of nods his head. I feel sort of silly saying this, but many of my opinions have changed since this morning. I always discounted them. But you hear stories about not Peruvian pyramids, but Egyptian pyramids, where spells are written into the stone, and if you break the circle, the mummy awakens and comes out and gets you.
I love those stories. Yeah.
I've always enjoyed them. I'm enjoying them a lot less now that it seems like that
living
might actually be a thing.
Ooh.
I feel like we need to know what that writing says, but we all looked at it and couldn't find out squat.
I'm just glad that in the jungle mummies would absolutely not make sense. They would rot away in a minute. So, at least we don't have to go worry about mummies.
Only fat sucking people.
Yeah.
And it sounds like superhumans at that. You guys had your hands full in the alley.
That was a mess, yeah. The slippery sucker.
Speaking of which, and when I assume that the sword is still under Wentworth's bed at some point, or have we not made it back to our room yet?
No, you made a point of going up to your room and stashing it at some point. I forget exactly when, but you absolutely went up there and did that.
It was before we came here.
Yep.
Have we gone back to our rooms yet? Or are we still in the lobby?
You're still in the lobby as far as I know. That if you
Okay.
wanted to have that be different, that's fine too.
Well, I know I'd like to look at the sword again, and I know I'd like to get back to the school. what order that happens in is not up to me completely. Do you guys have any proclivity to do something?
What time is it?
Like
Very
5.
early evening, so like 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock.
I guess we've got time to, run an errand, then get some dinner and get some rest. Yeah, we could get back over to the school and then back to the hotel.
I think our school trek is going to be more of a stakeout situation because I don't think we're getting back in without any police intervention.
Crime.
Okay, at that, Wentworth gets up off the seat and looks at the other two and starts walking toward the exit of the hotel.
Maybe if Adele ever catches up with us, she wasn't part of that whole ordeal. Maybe we could send her in to look for that, to help with the stakeout. Since
Perhaps.
yeah,
I don't know Adele's background / character type.
probably not lying low.
Maybe not one we'd want to entrust with go get that bar of gold and
And also while you're at it, take a look to see if that worm sucked any faces off. Yeah. Okay. So I'm walking out and just kind of like moseying through the streets towards the school.
then he
All right.
will accompany.
Yeah, I'm coming with you.
Wentworth is
So,
kind of
I mean-
keeping his eye out to like, cause like there was like a trusted advisor who turned fat sucking vampire type thing. So now he's like kind of wary of pretty much everyone.
I can't imagine why.
Well, there's the worm and the gold bar.
Yep.
So I guess the worm is
There's
the more
also
immediate.
likely a pool of blood from Mendoza, and
He's in his pool of blood is outside.
In the alley.
he bled a lot when he went through the window.
And a big yeah, there's a whole crime scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a vial of his blood, by the way.
Oh, neat. What you gonna do with that?
I will note, has rapidly coagulated.
Ugh.
It's not a solid block yet because you put it in a vial and got it away from air, but it's outside the body and it's not doing great. So if you want to do something with that or add something to prevent further damage, I would say go for it.
I do. So as we're walking towards the school, are there any like, this is Southern America. I assume there's like some sort of street vendors or tents or shops like selling meats or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna find like a meat vendor or something like that and see if they have any just like lard or like the choppings that they've taken off of the actual cut of meat that's just chunks of fat basically.
Yeah. That not a problem at all. Absolutely. You can get a like a pound of just chunks of essentially raw pig fat just wrapped in paper.
So I'll just buy whatever like the minimum acceptable amount is. I don't want just like a quarter size, but like maybe like a handful. And I'm going to pop the cork on the vial and take like maybe a penny's worth of fat and drop it in and then cork the vial back up and shake it up. Do I notice
Cool.
anything immediate?
I have absolutely no idea what happens if you introduce fat to blood, but whatever it is, that's what happens.
Okay.
Totally normal.
Like if I knew, I have no idea what would normally happen under those circumstances.
But
Whatever
like
that would be, is
it
what
doesn't
happens.
revert back. It doesn't revert back to like its normal viscous bloody nature.
No, you have some coagulating blood and some fat that now has coagulating blood on it.
Okay. Basically what I was trying to figure out was, is the blood the issue where the blood needs like external fat and mixing in the fat to the blood, so on and so forth. But that's
Got
been
it.
solved. That's not the case.
Yes, the blood does not oddly attack the fat or anything along those lines.
Okay.
That I apologize for bailing on that, but I literally have no idea what happens. I imagine the
No.
fat just gets wet, but I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
I apologize for the weak description there.
No, that's fine. I kind of pulled that one out of my ass.
That was a good test. That was a good idea. It didn't have particularly interesting results, but it was a really cool idea.
And I would not have explained any of this to Denny or Lois, so I'm just shaking fat in a vial.
You some kind of scientist there?
As his monocle goes to his eye and he shakes it and looks at it, and absolutely not.
Look
There's
so
just a chunk
smart.
of fat floating in a coagulated vial of blood.
And you have a brown paper packet of fat on you now.
I do.
And then primarily watching to see if we're being followed.
Excellent. And go ahead and
super creeped out.
let me try this. In fact, I'm going to try and get better at doing this. That should have prompted you for a spot hidden roll.
I think we got a prompt. Oh. No.
No.
Be in your chat. Oh, unless we're getting... Okay, hang on. Let me try something else here in case it's a matter of permissions in the window. If I do this, do you see it? Cool. All right, let's try this.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Although I'm not seeing the result.
No.
A pop-up came up that said he lacked permission to, I think, display that result in chat.
Nuts. All right, well, roll a spot hidden then.
It was 28.
Okay.
What's your skill? Do you have your... We should probably have
50%.
Close my skill.
I refreshed the page. But hidden is 50, so what did you get?
28.
Okay.
So you're keeping a good eye out behind you, looking for anybody following, checking the alleys as you walk in front of them, etc. At one point, there is a face, someone that shows up just often enough to make you a little twitchy, but then vanishes. You didn't get a real good look, but you saw what looked like a thin, pale face, kind of a scraggly black beard, long, fairly unclean dark hair. Not much more than that.
Kind of a Torgo from Manos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably has better knees though. Yeah, so you see that face just often enough to sort of catch your interest and have you double checking. But by about halfway to the university, you've stopped seeing it.
All right.
Mendoza, his description was not thin, gaunt, sickly, none of that. He was a regular looking Spanish dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
On the thin side, but not notably gaunt or ill looking.
Okay.
Also didn't feel like he had the world's greatest hygiene, but you know.
Greasy.
Yeah.
Lots of extra grease.
The fat seeping at me eating so well. Okay.
So you find yourselves at the university. And just as you walk up, you can see that there's been a board roughly nailed up across the broken window with police painted on it, and just red paint on this board. As you continue watching, you don't see an obvious police presence at this point, just looking at the outside of the building, at least.
Wentworth is just gonna continue walking like he's going to visit his professor buddy.
Looking like we're supposed to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he's okay.
exactly.
Sure. Yeah, you absolutely have no trouble. You walk up to the front door, you walk on in, excuse me, and find yourself in a relatively familiar hallway inside that main door.
Nothing seems out of place or ominous.
Nothing certainly obvious.
Gonna look at the other two and continue walking towards the office and the stairway that leads down to the basement.
Sure. You cross in front of Professor Sanchez's office, and the door is closed. You can see the staircase off to your left ahead of you at the other end, at the end of the hallway.
He's gonna look at the other two and go, does anybody want to check on the office? And maybe two of us go downstairs to check on our friend that I've hidden downstairs.
I mean, I think we should check the office.
Should we stay as a group or split? I don't know how much time or what eyes are lurking.
I don't know if we want to split up.
Yeah, I'll take a quick look. Then he'll try the door gently to see if it's locked.
It is.
He'll shake his head and say it's locked. You can come back.
Knock,
if you
knock,
need
knock,
to.
knock. Little knocks.
No response to your knocking.
All right, I guess we can check it later. I'd be able to jimmy the lock. But yeah, let's find our little wormy friend.
Yep. So take the closest staircase down. Is it lit at all?
No better than it was last
Okay.
time.
Okay. Yeah, make my way down to so if I remember correctly, two staircases lead down to an elongated study room essentially, and on one side in the corner, I hid it under some basically a pile of books.
Yeah, in fact, let me do this. Where did that just go? Here we go. All right.
I want to take the staircase closest to the corner where I hid it.
Okay. So just as a reference,
Here we are. Nice.
so this over here is the staircase down that you would have just gone to, past Professor Sanchez's office. At the south end, the bottom there is obviously the stacks.
Like in here.
Yeah, did you stash it in a lit one or an unlit one?
It was unlit, so it would have been this one, I suppose.
Okay. Because yeah, the body was found here.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Did we ever go
So
in this room?
No.
I think we had come down the other side and walked in, and then
Yeah.
it was dark and Mendoza scurried out of where we're walking down now.
Right.
So Wentworth is just gonna open the door nonchalant and just kind of stroll over and take a peek at where he had hid the pile of books and the worm and so on.
Sure. You don't have any problem finding where it was. You do see that it has been disturbed. The books have been moved aside, the rug has been unwrapped, and the drawer has been turned over. The worm is nowhere to be seen.
Son of a bitch. That's not good. Well, what did I expect? He looks back towards the other two and with a bit of a worried look. Like, this thing's kind of like loose, perhaps.
Does it look like it tipped the whole thing over and got out on its own, or does it look
No.
like
Things look stacked and moved, like somebody was searching through whatever was in here.
So
Maybe.
likely the police have this.
or it attacked someone, and I don't know what it's capable of?
The jar that it was stashed in is gone as well.
Yep.
Okay, so it was taken for sure because the jar's not here. So it may have attacked somebody, just not here.
They kept it contained.
Which is good,
They're probably okay for now.
though I don't know how long.
Is that crate that had the gold bar in it, is that still around?
Yeah, if you go over to where you found the body, you can see the crate, so pushed a little bit to the side now, presumably for access to the body and whatever other evidence. The body obviously is gone. That's been removed.
Yeah. Is there anything else in there? Any other things that look like an artifact or?
No, you do a fairly thorough search, and nothing else seems particularly pertinent to the questions at hand. There's a lot of history in here, but none of it seems to bear on de Mendoza, this pyramid, or any of the things that are the subjects of your current expedition.
So
Does anyone want to explore around a little bit down here? Just, I guess there's another room we never looked in.
sure. We had two goals. The one was the worm, the most pertinent. It's gone. Second is the gold bar, which is either in the authorities' hands or probably locked in the professor's office.
Might be down here again too. I don't know.
Yeah, we should look around down here. Are the two doors in the top left, top right, are those the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we could check. Do the stacks? That's mostly books, right? Not, or are there boxes?
There are some boxes on the shelves. It's mostly books, mostly paper information, but there's some stuff that is in there on the shelves. It looks like there's a certain accretion of small items and such on the shelves, as if people have brought them in here to look them up and check paperwork and then set them down and then not actually refiled them. But it is mostly folders, binders, file boxes full of documents.
I mean, we might be able to find some information down here, but if we wanted to find more artifacts, they'd probably be somewhere else. So let's check that other room.
You guys go ahead. Wentworth is going to look in the
Best luck.
dark section to see if there are any other books pertaining to the artifact, the temple, the fat-sucking vampires, so on. Conquistadors of the 1500s.
You should lie.
Go ahead and give me a library use roll.
Library use. Damn.
You don't find much. There's a lot of paper, a lot of folders. There's some kind of labeling system, but it's in Spanish, which makes it a little tougher for you to read. Some of the handwriting is too hard to make out. You dig through a bunch of papers and don't find anything of interest.
So, just because I'm slightly unfamiliar with the rules again, you're able to roll again, correct? And if you...
Yes, you can push the roll. So there are two things you can do. You can spend luck points and decrease the value of your roll 1 for 1. That will obviously reduce your luck. You can also ask to push the roll, in which case you get to roll again. But if you fail, there is some larger consequence than just not getting a good result.
I can spend 2 luck points to beat the roll, or I can try to push it with some. I'll spend the 2 luck points.
Sure. Drop your luck by 2, and you have succeeded. You find a variety of documents and some books that seem to be related. Ultimately, as you're flipping through the documents and you're taking your time skimming them, it looks like what you've mostly found are the sources that Rizzo was using to compile the document that you pulled off her body. You do find in one book, sort of off to one side, a reasonably thorough description of the Karasiri legend that goes into some detail about their general description, their behavior. It doesn't add a whole lot to your knowledge compared to things you've heard before, but it confirms that, at least in the traditional Karasiri legends, they are universally Caucasian, almost always Spaniards. They kill people, sometimes animals, by sucking the fat out of their bodies. And every now and again, albeit not often, a victim will just go missing.
Okay. And you guys are exploring the northern room?
See if the door's unlocked.
Yep. So you go to the double doors on the other side of the hallway, and they are in fact locked.
If I can open it. I don't know if I've got lock picking.
Locksmith.
I don't have very good lock picking. I'll give it a go. I don't know what my roll was.
Can you click up? Yeah.
Roll it, but I can't see what my roll was. I didn't even see my dice.
Yeah, I am not seeing anything at all.
Try it again.
I
User
hear the
pop
dice.
permission to create new chat message. Like, can I not chat at all? Can't.
Oh,
No.
hang on. That came in as Rob. I don't know. I think you have control over Rob's character. He may not have control over yours.
Hmm.
Oh, no. You're both owners.
I was going to say, we got the same message using both of the characters from this one window.
All right, try one more time. I don't think what I just did will make a difference, but give it a shot.
I can't even see the dice. I can't see the roll.
Yeah. Try just hitting the 2d10 underneath the chat window. So you can just get a die roll to go.
There you go.
That I see.
All right. Oh, no. That was a 22. My locksmith is a 21.
You can
You
spend
can spend luck.
yeah, 45. As long as you keep 30, you're fine.
All right, I'll spend a luck point.
Cool. Yeah, drop your luck by 1, and it takes you some fiddling. And you're about to give up, honestly. Like, this isn't your bag. You don't have the right tools. Using hairpins and a bit of wood you found on the floor to try and turn the lock. And as you're turning away, about to give up, your hand pulls the hairpin out and drops down a little bit, and you hear click. You freeze, try turning it, and the lock turns.
Thank you, baby Jesus. All right. We got a room to go in. Is it dark, I assume, in there?
Yes, but you have lights if you.
Oh, yeah, we have. Okay. Is this this is still electric lights?
Yeah.
Area, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna look for a light switch or something.
Yeah, you can turn on the lights.
Yeah.
And there are a couple. I mean, they're 1920s electric bulbs. They're not the best light in the world, but they're enough light to see by in here. You see a room that has several long tables, kind of in the middle of it. On either wall to either side are shelves with items stacked on them. It looks like most of the stuff on the shelves is small, mostly small things. The stuff on the tables is more interesting and clearly more valuable. There are large pieces here that appear to be made of solid gold. There are a couple that are just solid silver. They appear to be primarily uh, masks. It was the Mayans in Peru. The Aztecs were further north.
Correct, I believe.
All right, we'll say Mayan, because I clearly know my South American history, obviously.
I think the Incas were near there too.
Yeah, I think they were Incan.
Incan. Yes, okay, yes. Incan. Right, so you recognize, just from being in Lima and seeing the professor's office, you see similar styles here. This appears to be, they appear to be Incan artifacts, presumably from archaeological sites.
Anything have the markings we saw on the gold bar?
Yeah, Denny's going to try to not touch anything. I mean, all this gold and silver is awesome, but he's just going to be looking for similar symbology from what he can remember.
Sure. You can each give me, we'll say we'll just say archaeology roll. And really, this will just determine how long it takes you to separate out what you're seeing, what you're looking for. Assuming you can make a roll, obviously. That I see.
Do anything different?
No.
Archaeology.
That's super weird.
So now the lowest one is
So Lois didn't yet one. But neither of us rolled a 1, so I don't think it matters.
No, and like I said, you're going to get the answer. It's just a question of how long it took you to dig through everything. So it takes you a while, particularly with trying to not touch anything, and to very carefully separate out, because many of these have markings on them. But to distinguish between just artistic markings and the fairly unique style you saw in that length of gold. And after, we'll say, like half an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere in there, you have come up empty. Nothing in here appears to have writing or symbology on it that looks similar to what was on that bar of gold.
So, Matt, Aztec were further north than Mayans, and Inca were south of both of those.
All right. So I correctly remembered the Aztecs were the ones north.
Yes.
Score.
That was like northern Mexico, southern United States ish.
Aztec is Mexico.
It's central Mexico. Mayan was southeastern Mexico, Guatemala, and then Inca's much further south.
South
South
America.
America, Andes Mountains.
Gotcha.
Right. So
Conveniently, the time you spent looking for those markings is probably about the same time Wentworth spent digging through a good chunk of the archives in the stacks.
Yeah, Wentworth is going to kind of stroll in, notice the doors open, and
yeah, Denny's gonna have his hands up and be like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. What is this? As Wentworth enters the room.
I suppose Wentworth would. Is there like a grouping of stuff that you're looking at, or is it just like all over the room?
Just all the tables, all the counters.
I don't think he would be willing to check all of it. I think he's more interested.
Mechanically, they succeeded. It just took them some time.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything in here with similar markings.
I think we should check the professor's room upstairs. I think the bar may still be up there.
Yep. All right, I'll pull the door close. I don't know if I can relock it again. I'm just gonna turn off the lights and leave it be. Hopefully no one will notice.
Absolutely. Excellent. All right, so yeah, you find yourself back upstairs. which I don't. Do I have a better picture than this? I don't think I do. For the upstairs of. No, this is what you get. Yeah, so you make your way back up the stairs and you're outside the professor's office.
So Denny will try to look casual, as I assume Lois is going to try and unlock this door.
There we go. I guess I'll just roll the.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna be a
have no idea why that's not.
tough one. Ooh.
No.
Nope.
Anyone else want to give it a go?
Well, my locksmith is 1, so
Yeah, both use.
how
I mean,
bad
we
do we
can
want to get in?
try and bust in the door, but that probably wouldn't look too good for us.
I can cough really loud.
Well, there's the window on the other side.
That just has a board across it. Yeah.
It was upstairs, though, wasn't it?
No, you're on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Ground floor?
Ground floor.
Yeah, we could take a gander. Yeah.
Well,
at
you
least-
know, I'm past the age of jumping in and out of windows. It looks like one of you guys are gonna have to do it.
We can look in the window just to see if
Well, there's a big board over it. Boarded
Just-
up.
One board.
There is one board that's a couple inches wide that just has police painted on it.
Right. It's just saying
Oh.
like nobody climb in here. It's
I
dark.
wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we'll walk back out around and go to that street side and see what we see with that whole area. Like, I assume there's still glass busted out, or maybe somebody swept it up, or where are we at?
Like an effort has been made to clean up the glass, but it has not been either fully completed or somebody called it good enough. There's still shards of glass on
It's
the
all
ground outside the window.
Swept up against the side of the building, like
Yeah.
still there. It's just out of the way. Yeah. So I'll take a look in the window and see if there's anything, like, see if there's a worm running around, or if the professor's still in there asleep, or what's going on.
Sure. Give me a spot hidden at hard difficulty. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so you're looking in, you're trying to do this as casually as possible. And as you're looking around, first, you don't see any signs of motion or worms or other strange biological samples. You're casting about looking to see if you can find the gold bar. And it dawns on you, like, with the window busted out, probably it wouldn't be advisable to leave a large chunk of gold just out on a desk. So you try, flying casual, you try to kind of eye around the room looking for likely spots, should he have kept it, where he might have put it. And after a couple minutes, you notice on the bookshelves behind his desk, there's a section of books that are further out from the back than the rest of them.
Do you want to do?
Do we need this bar? We can stop using the word old gay.
What?
I'm trying to use Pig Latin, but that makes it sound weird.
What did you call Will?
Hey, I'm straight, all right.
But the bar may be in the bookshelf there. But do we need it? Like, do we need it?
I don't know if the professor's coming back. If we, to like, for us to ask for it. I mean,
I've got a
coughed up-
strong hunch.
got
that-
attacked by a vampire.
I've got a strong hunch that this needs to be replaced in the temple.
Hmm.
So I think we should bring it with us on our trek back to the temple. I just don't know what the best form of like acquiring it. Should we ask the professor before we leave? Are we going to see him before we leave?
Is he in the hospital? Has he
I don't know.
turned into a fat vampire too and is romping around the city? I don't know. Like,
This might be our best option.
and since this is sort of open to God and everyone, we might as well take it before some other kids take it.
So, what does the window look like? I mean, it was probably plate glass, right? Nothing
Yep.
fancy.
Yep, it was a side-by-side 2-pane plate glass window. De Mendoza went out the right side, in the process largely tearing out the wood in the middle, that there's probably a word for that I don't know, and cracking and breaking out part of the other pane. But the majority of it from the outside is the left side that's thoroughly broken out. Still got some bits of glass sticking in from the frame, but with some caution, you could clearly get through it.
Denny will kind of with his elbow facing out, with his elbow kind of bump a few of the remaining shards just to make sure it's as safe as going through a broken window can get. And then I guess he'll try to just step in as casually as possible, like through the window, trying to not like he's not gonna like, the way scuba divers like dive backwards into the water, like flip backward. That like to have somebody disappear into the window is gonna bring attention, but like stepping and walking, hopefully will be as minimal as a distraction
I'll keep a lookout.
as possible.
I'll make a caw sound if something.
Hooty hoo.
Sure. So, Rob, give me a luck roll.
That's
Oh,
fine.
God.
Ooh.
All right. You make it into the office. Lois, you're keeping an eye out. And as you're watching the street, there aren't that many people walking around, and it doesn't look like anybody's paying attention. So,
Smokes a cigarette.
Denny, you are in the office.
All right, Denny will try to like grab the books that are displaced and sort of bring them down, keep them in order so he can put them back. But instead of just sticking his hand behind them, he wants to like take the books out and see what's there.
Sure. Easy enough. You take the books out, and sure enough, you see the gold bar up against the back of the bookshelf.
All right, Denny will put the books down, take the gold bar, and hand it to Wentworth through the window.
Wentworth grabs it, puts it in his satchel, closes the lid.
And then
Sure.
put the books back, and then do one more quick look around as he's walking back to the window.
All right, you set the books back. Give me another luck roll.
Yep, here come our police friends. Nice.
Nice. As you're setting the books back, you do think to yourself, you should probably set them back still sticking out a little bit, and set them back the way you found them rather than instinctively pushing them all the way in.
Denny doesn't have a lot of practice with books.
Wentworth does. He reminds you.
What's that?
I said Wentworth has a lot of practice with books. He reminds you. Make sure you put those back how you found them.
There you go.
Quick question.
Yeah.
If you don't have a success, but you use your luck point like I did on lockpick, does that count as
No, that does not. That doesn't qualify it for advancement if you used luck, or if you pushed the roll. In fact, although I may give it to you on pushed rolls depending on circumstance. Technically, pushed rolls and luck rolls or luck affected rolls don't qualify it.
Okay.
Right. So Denny, you're looking around the room, seeing if you can find anything else of interest. Nothing leaps out at you of the stuff that I know you'd be looking for, like worms or other artifacts with that writing. Certainly in a quick perusal of stuff on the desk, you don't see anything else that seems related to the pyramid or the expedition. If there's something in particular you're looking for, you can let me know and I'll tell you, but
There isn't a body. There isn't the professor
Right.
sleeping on the couch. Like nothing.
exactly.
A new pair of shoes that somebody has left while they're in the bathroom. Like nothing weird.
Right. No, nothing like that. It looks like the professor finished out his day in here one way or another and locked the door behind him to go wherever it is the professor has gone.
And Denny's going to make his way right back out the same way he came in.
Easy enough. You are all outside the university. You have successfully acquired a gold bar with strange symbols on it that is in Wentworth's satchel.
Who wants to sleep with that under your pillow?
I'll put it under my bed with the sword. Just create an occult bed.
I am disappointed, Cicely, that you didn't end that with a Yapaluka.
Yeah, Maluk. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so where to? Just back to the hotel? Is there anything else you're looking to do?
Been
Would-
kind of a day.
Denny, would you have let us know that some stranger was perhaps following us or not?
No,
Okay,
because it's not enough of a weird whatever.
sure.
Yeah. It's not fair to say you're high strung, because you're
Right.
not really high strung, but you've got a pretty low threshold for that kind of thing given your history. And you recognize that. So you're not sure. Like you twigged to it, it caught your eye, but I think you're exactly right. It wasn't enough of a ping to really convince you that you were seeing anything more than just the same guy who happened to be behind you for a little while.
Yeah, that's the notion I got. Was technically you may have seen something, but probably not. So yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah,
Denny's
back.
rounds light in the pistol, and probably a little tired from the running. So I was gonna say, should we go get some dinner and wrap
Rest.
this day up?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Perfect.
Then we'll bring you back, at least for the time being, to your hotel restaurant.
The
And we can
restaurant.
go from there.
Wentworth
I
is
assume if there's
gonna.
anything else you want to do. Is it just we're calling it a
Went-
wrap on the day?
yeah, Wentworth is gonna want to go back up to his room and study both artifacts and let the other two know what he's doing, obviously.
All right.
Denny will stay in the sort of main area of the ground floor and watch for any of our employers people or any other people that I sort of recognize and try and mainly get a feel for who's in this lobby all the time. You know, if you're at a conference, there's like 24 people that you're going to see all the time, and try and get those people memorized so I can tell when somebody else might show up. Kind of get used to the populace.
Sure. Sounds good. That'll be easy enough to just get a feel for what's normal. The challenge is you're at one of only a couple decent hotels in the city anywhere near the port. So the variety of people who are coming through here is pretty high. Um, the only the only the only people you really aren't seeing are um, low middle class sorts, not from Peru. So you see all sorts of people that are clearly locals. Some of them are stopping in just to eat, some just to drink. Of the people who are clearly staying here, the majority are clearly not Peruvian. But that group is made up of a wide variety of ethnicities, styles of dress, apparent occupations, etc., etc. So in a way, what would stand out most would be if you saw a significant group of people who all kind of matched. You don't. You also don't particularly catch sight of anybody who reminds you of the guy that you saw walking behind you earlier, or anybody else of note that you've interacted with. But you do, doesn't take you long. Sit down here for maybe half an hour or 45 minutes, have some kind of beverage, maybe some beer nuts, and just get a pretty good feel for the ebb and flow of people in here. And you're fairly comfortable that, as diverse as it is, you would twig pretty quickly to somebody really kind of out of band coming through. Okay, so Wentworth, you go back to your room and you want to investigate the sword and the gold bar. Which you're looking at first?
Sword.
All right. Give me, let's call it history check, hard difficulty, since you've already examined the sword and you're looking to try and get more out of it.
Alrighty.
Although, again, if you want to steer me towards a skill you'd rather use, you can try and convince me something else would work better.
There's no writing on the sword, is there? Or else I would argue Spanish.
Yeah, no, there's no writing on it. That you would have absolutely found any kind of script or anything in your previous examination of the sword. So to recap what that was, which included, if I recall correctly, oh yeah, that should be ticked. Oh, that was my fault. I did that. A pretty impressive archaeology roll as well as a successful history roll on the sword. You're pretty sure, I'm quite confident as you can be, that this is an authentic 16th century conquistador cavalry saber.
Right. So what I'm trying to gather past that is there, I would argue, a cult, I suppose, though I'm garbage at the roll, but is there anything more than just a sword here?
Sure, you can roll a cult. You can roll a cult, or yeah, you can roll a cult or history hard, and either will get you something like what you're looking for.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean, you spend some time examining it, and you don't find any distinguishing markings on it. You find what you assume is a maker's mark on the crossguard, but aside from that, it's unadorned. It looks like a purely functional weapon that may have just been assigned to someone, or if it was commissioned by someone for a particular purpose. They just went into a weaponsmith and said, cavalry sword style B, and then got one of those.
yep. Okay. I'm going to tuck that back under the bed with no intent on bringing it with me. Presumably, Mendoza was brandishing that as he just like walked around. So if I took that, Larkin would be like, "Why do you have De Mendoza's sword?"
Then you want to examine the gold bar.
Yes.
So you'll get some stuff just for nothing. You can see it's like a 1.5 foot, 2 foot length of gold. Bar isn't quite the right word. More strap. It's a couple inches wide, but it's not very deep. It's like maybe half an inch thick, give or take. It looks like it probably was straight, level, and rectangular, but has been clearly like chiseled into at either end and forcibly pulled off something. So it's a little bit bent, it's a little bit distorted.
Mhm.
But you can see that most likely where it was originally was just part of a long, straight, flat strip. One side does have some markings on it. They remind you somewhat of like cuneiform, but not exactly. They've got kind of the same like reliance on carved in triangles, and it's fairly closely spaced. You can give me an archaeology roll to see if you can find out anything else about that, about the symbology.
Wow.
Nice. Nice. So your first impression is this looks a lot like cuneiform. You quickly discount it actually being cuneiform. It doesn't have the right symbol order. The rotations aren't right. The depths aren't quite right. And you spent some time, for whatever reason in your past, studying cuneiform. You're pretty good at it for somebody who hasn't spent a career on it. You look at it further and you compare it to everything you've ever seen about ancient languages, all the way up through modern era, and you're not able to map it to any symbology you're familiar with. You spend a little bit of time, in fact, kind of looking at symbols and looking for patterns, looking for repetitions of symbols, and you come away like, if this is some kind of language, it's entirely foreign to you and anything you've seen. It doesn't look like a language. It is the pattern or lack thereof is too random. You're familiar with languages. The distribution of characters is not random. Length of symbol strings is not random. You can derive patterns even in short segments. This, you incense no pattern to it at all. It's as if somebody just took a tool and just like poked carvings into it in a random order. It's 1920. Yeah. I'm not given the time period. I'm not sure if it's plausible for you to know this, but it was a really good roll. So sure. Um, the one thing it occurs to you that it could be would be a pretty good encryption, a pretty good cipher, because a good encryption scheme will have the output look random. That said, again, with a 7 on your archaeology roll, you can identify the smoothness, I guess, of the carvings, and this seems consistent with artifacts that are about 400 years old from this area. The tool marks and the overall the use of gold, for one thing, and the overall aesthetic fits ink and art, sort of. It's similar enough.
Yeah.
You come away from it feeling like if it's a language, it's at the very least encrypted. You suspect it isn't a language at all. You would guess that it's about as old as all these legends of the Karasiri are. In your examination of it, you also notice some black smudge marks on it along one edge.
Am I is hmm. Does it appear to be ink or charcoal?
It does not. It looks burned, like something burned.
Gotcha.
You can try and give me a medicine roll or a first aid. In fact, I'll give you first aid on it.
Okay. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
So, just your familiarity from helping injured people, you look at this for a little bit and you recognize these are finger marks. Something grabbed this, and when it did, its flesh burned onto the bar.
Reiki. But we've grabbed onto it and we were not burnt. So in my head, in Wentworth's head, he's assuming that this was pulled out of something. And when it was pulled out, something was seared. Whatever was pulling it out was seared. Okay.
The document didn't mention anything about
Oh.
that.
It didn't.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. Wentworth, give me an intelligence roll.
Hopefully he's more intelligent than I am.
Yeah. So you know how it was found. It was found half pulled out of a box full of straw. Like somebody started pulling it out.
Before that, so in the letter is what I'm talking about, when they actually removed it from the temple.
I know, but I'm telling you,
Oh.
you remember it was found half pulled out of a box full of straw. Like something had started to pull it out and then stopped.
Oh, that makes more sense now. Okay.
Oh,
So maybe
we examined the body.
Damon Doza tried to get it. Sorry, is that where you're going?
Or the librarian, or what's her name? Rizzo.
The mummy.
No, the lady. Yes, I get.
Who's now a mummy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she pulled it out and it burned her, or it only burned the
we
vampire.
know that the assumption is that the professor put it behind the books. So it could be the professor, it could be
Right. Can we remember the last time we saw this bar? Did it have those smudges?
Who found it in the box?
I had originally picked it up. Or no.
I mean, we were all together.
Lois picked it up and handed it to me, and I put it in the bag. So at least the two of us had seen it prior. And I took it out of the bag when we met the cops and put it on the desk.
Right. Then yeah, I'll give it to you that intelligence roll. Yeah, let's say when you pulled it out of the box, you could have noticed that the marks were there.
Okay. So likely there's some correlation with Damon Mendoza trying to. That's probably why he was down there. I don't think he's probably just killing her for some random reason.
So either it's De Mendoza's
Or, yeah.
fingerprints or the lady's, but she was normal like we are, and none of us are burned when we touch the bar.
Right.
Maybe burns, unworldly monsters.
And there was a fire upstairs.
Yeah. Was that more of like a distraction fire?
He wasn't on fire when he was hiding in the shadows waiting for us to do whatever. Okay. I think I've come to some conclusion that I don't know. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put that back in my satchel, and if it's not super, super late, probably make my way down to the bar for a late night meal and a drink.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say that probably the sword wouldn't have taken you very long. You gave it a thorough examination previously. You were looking to see if you missed anything. That was relatively straightforward. You spent some time studying the bar. That probably took you probably close to 2 hours. I'm envisioning you up there like taking notes, making counts of symbols, trying to sketch what you remember of cuneiform, that kind of thing, trying to study it. So we'll say you finish up with that around 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Oh yeah, I would absolutely go downstairs for a dinner and a drink.
It's like a 10-minute walk from the university to here. So that all fit into like the first hour, and yeah, so about 8 o'clock.
Then he's got a seat for him.
Oh, beautiful. And he's gonna. Where's Lois during all this?
Eating a lot, just starving. Eating and smoking at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down next to. I assume they're both sitting together, but sit down next to them and order some food and a drink, and basically explain in very hushed tone, but not like head against the table hushed tone, just kind of trying to make it see so nobody else can hear too much, but explaining what my theory is and what I think I've realized, and then the actual facts of the situation as well.
Cool. So yeah, you're all caught up on Wentworth's findings.
Can I remember when we were fighting with the Mendoza, did he have a burned hand?
Give me a hard spot hidden roll.
Come on. Good rolls. Good
Oh,
rolls.
yeah, you just have to roll the dice because for some reason it's not letting you generate cards. So you're trying to hit
Half of your spot hidden.
12 or lower.
Nope. Regular change to hard.
Let's just see if this works off of my screen.
Yep.
All right, works on my
Oh.
screen.
Good. Excellent.
Totally.
I will try and figure out what the problem is on the other one because you shouldn't.
Yeah.
That should work. Yeah, you don't remember. At the very least, you can tell that he didn't have a hand that was so burned you noticed it. Beyond that, you don't know. You don't remember clearly. He might have been wearing gloves for all you can really recall. It was a pretty frantic moment.
Right.
I wasn't looking at his hands. I was looking at his freak mouth.
Wentworth is going to bring up the possibility of visiting the policia and asking to see the body with little to no authority around these parts and just getting away previously. Like, stay in town.
I reckon he had some pull with the
He did.
cops. Maybe we could just say that he told us that, he wanted more information and we're his private investigators. Or investigators.
Bear in mind, De Mendoza was taken away in an ambulance.
So, hospital.
We might find the professor there as well, but do you think it's too late to go visit a hospital right now?
Visiting hours are probably done, but
Be less busy.
hey, so wait, in that letter, did it say that that guy shot Dame Mendoza in the head? Was that right?
Yeah. It did.
So we killed him? Like,
Shot his friend in the head and fled. Yep.
so he was not dead. How dead did we kill him?
Do we kill him dead?
Did we kill him really dead? So I was like, oh,
Good point.
till tomorrow. But if he's like only mostly dead and he is slowly recovering his strength, maybe everyone in the hospital is in terrible danger. Shoot, I
A
didn't
slow realization is coming to this table.
nuts, guys. So, yeah, maybe we should go find the hospital that they take people to. Does anyone remember what? I mean,
There's only one hospital in
all
the
right.
area.
I would say this isn't a giant metropolis, I suppose.
No.
No.
So we'll square up here and then get on the move, hustle to the hospital.
Everything goes on Larkin's tab.
Beautiful.
All right. So you guys head to the hospital. Easy enough to find. Where is what I am looking for?
We're hoping to go to a hospital at nighttime, maybe if it's some sort of dark basement where there's
Oh
a body
god.
not be dead would be. That would be ideal. We could do that.
It's not
Perfect.
ominous at all that he's got a hospital map that's about to pop up.
I am not about to pop up a hospital map. I was actually looking for the name of the hospital I don't have it, so we're going to call it the Hospital Lima
Nice. Hospital de
because it's a
Lima.
hospital in Lima, and things are often named in a very straightforward fashion. Um, right. So you make your way to the hospital. You have to ask a little. You have to ask around a little bit. Uh, you know, to identify where the hospital is. It's not a place you have been before, but it's not hard to find. Um,
After Denny says hospital louder and louder at various locals, because clearly that fixes it. Right.
That's how you make yourself understood.
Yes.
Talk louder. Um, so you get there, and the sun is setting at this point. Uh, it's past midsummer. It's getting in towards late summer. The days are still. You're in the southern hemisphere. Right. It's summer in the southern hemisphere. It was March when you left. Getting into March. It's
I
late
mean, just
summer.
winter.
It is late summer here
Okay.
because you're just coming out of winter. Yes, you were going into early March when you left the States. So you're late summer here.
Yeah, spring equals fall.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, the point is the days are still long enough that at like 8 o'clock, there's still some sunlight. It's not dark, but the sun is dropping. Um, so you get to the hospital without too much trouble, a little bit of time, but nothing beyond that. And you walk in the front door and you find yourself in front of just a hospital, desk. There is a charge nurse behind it looking at you expectantly.
Wentworth is gonna look at the other two and tu habla español?
No.
Alright, he's gonna turn towards the nurse and goes, ¿Dónde está el de Mendoza?
He looks at you and says, "Your Spanish is not very good. Who are you looking for?"
De Mendoza. Do you have a patient named De Mendoza? We're here to check up on him. His employer, Larkin, eyebrow raises, a furry eyebrow raises.
Senor Larkin. Very important.
She nods. "I am not sure, but I can look." Pulls up some papers on a clipboard from beneath the desk, puts it on top, starts looking through. "De Mendoza, you said?" Finger scanning down, scanning down. "No, we do not. We do not have a patient named De Mendoza currently."
And Denny will lean in and say he may have died before getting here.
She nods. "Ah, I see. Yes." Puts down the one clipboard, pulls another one out. Finger down and about halfway down the first page. "Ah, yes. De Mendoza. Luis de Mendoza. Yes. He arrived. He was deceased when he arrived at the hospital."
Okay, where would he be right now?
Presumably in the morgue downstairs.
Okay, he may have property of his employer that we need to look at. Can you
Very
escort us
perishable.
there? Can you escort us there? Can you tell us how to get there? We just need to be there.
She looks down at her clipboard, looks up at you. "Yes. Fine. Go to the end of this hallway," and she points off to um, your right as you came in the door. Her left as she's behind the desk. Go down to that end. Double doors on your right. Go in there. Uh, oh, yeah. How's it gonna work? I have messed up the layout. Go through those double doors. It is the medical examiner's room. There'll be another door on your left to a staircase that will take you downstairs to the morgue. He should be down there. There should be an attending nurse monitoring the area who should have access to everyone's personal effects who are brought in. She should be able to show you his personal effects. Though I will warn you, you are not likely to be allowed to take them with you without some sort of documentation that we can release them to you. Are you family?
Denny will say, "That's fine. I hope she's still there," and start to make his way there. But he'll make the comment within earshot of her saying, "I hope she's still there," as he goes.
She looks, as you walk away, you can see her look a little bit confused. Put her clipboard down, kind of watch you as you go down the hallway, but not otherwise react.
So
Yeah, Wentworth's walking briskly behind Denny.
Thank you, sweetie, says Lois.
You follow her directions, easy enough. You open the double doors towards the end of the hallway. You find yourself in a medical examiner's room. You find the door she mentioned. Go down a flight of stairs. She neglected to mention the length of hallway you also have to walk down, but there's only one way to go. And you find yourself in front of a pair of double swinging doors, through which you see morgue.
So Denny's going to get in there as fast as he can and look to see if there's anything that's out of place or ajar or anything like that, and if there's any sign of any other living, fat-filled people.
Sure. So you walk in, and no one appears to be here. No one living, anyway, seems to be here. There's a desk off to your left as you walk in that looks like somebody could be sitting there. There's a little desk lamp on it that is off, some papers on the desk that look like they've been squared up, and there's a pen sitting there. You look into the rest of the room, you see an array of half a dozen steel slabs on wheels in the middle of the room. Each of them covered in a full-length white sheet with a figure underneath, except for the one second from the end to your right, which does not have a body on it.
Upon seeing that, Wentworth is immediately going to turn on his heel and look at the outside of the door that we had walked in and see if there's any like presumably he was relatively like bloody, dirty, something where maybe he left a footprint if he had walked out of the room.
Give me a hard spot hidden.
I want to know if this man left or if he's still in the room. Spot hidden. Come on. What do you got? Damn it.
You don't see anything. Oh,
Hello, hello.
welcome. Welcome home.
Also ice cream?
What do you mean? Did you already have dessert?
No. My friends came over before I could have
How
some.
many luck points do I have? Enough. I'll do it.
Sorry, I'm late.
No worries.
Did you at least get a lot of good manuscript work done?
I did. It's all but done except for I have to like dig out a couple articles about ones I already have on interventions that have worked for the microbiome. So
Sure.
it's easy. But when I didn't realize I was citing myself, it was time to go home. Man, this is a great paper, yo. Who wrote this? And it was me.
You did, you asshole.
Time to go home.
So I'll give you a quick snapshot of where we're at now, taking a break in probably like 15 minutes, and I'll give you a fuller catch up then. Right now, you are in the morgue in the basement of the hospital where they took Mendoza after Lois and Denny offed him in a back alley.
He's a fat vampire. Bad guy.
Yes. He's a fat vampire. By which I mean a vampire who eats fat, not a vampire who is fat. He's not a corpulent
Oh.
vampire. He's a fat
Like one of
vampire.
those adipose things from Doctor Who.
Yes, except way less cute.
That guy from X-Files
Yes.
who
Yes.
preyed on like internet dating ladies, I think.
Who's I should remember his name too. It's a good
Yeah,
one.
he's like a character actor. He's been in a million things, and every time I see him, the first thing I think of is fat vampire.
Yep.
So
And he's got a cool name in the show, and he comes back again in a second episode. So while I wouldn't say I should remember the name of every NPC in that show at all, I feel like I should know this guy's name.
That was like first season or second. That was an early one too.
Yeah,
So
super early.
yeah, that made an impression.
Is his name Too Shy?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Yes. Yeah,
That-
like very close to that.
I just Googled it.
Fat
6th episode of the 3rd season. A fat-sucking vampire. It's got to be Too Shy.
Yeah,
Yes.
after. Creeps me out.
Anyway, yes. So after killing him in a back alley, he was taken away in an ambulance. You're now checking the morgue. It is much later in the same day. It's now 8 o'clock ish, probably 8:30 ish at this point. In the evening, you've reached the morgue. There are 6 gurneys. That's the word I'm looking for. When I said steel slabs on wheels, I meant gurneys. There are 6 gurneys, 5 of which have full-length white bed sheets on them over bodies. The second from the right, however, does not have a body on it. Wentworth has just turned on his heel and looked to see if he can see footprints or anything indicating that De Mendoza walked out of the room. He did not successfully spot hidden.
I have elected to use my luck points to make that so I can.
All right. So you look, and with a successful spot hidden, you can definitively see that there aren't any footprints like that have left traces of blood or anything of the sort. You can see the occasional like foot mark. It's a tiled floor and a linoleum floor out in the hallway. And apparently people have scuffed their shoes on linoleum or brought in just some road dust onto the floor. So there are occasional like very faint footprints you can see going both in and out. But there is nothing indicating somebody injured walked in or out of this room.
Right. I'm looking like for injured and also specifically barefoot.
You don't see any barefoot footprints either. That's specifically you look and there aren't any. You know there aren't any, not just you don't see any.
Awesome. I open the double doors, come back in, and look at the rest of the group with like very wide eyes, like mouthing the words, "He's in here."
Yeah.
Wait, do we hear anything?
Yeah, I should note for Katie's benefit, it dawned on everyone like half an hour ago in game time that given the information you have about the Karasiri, the fat vampires, and the document that says this particular guy in the 16th century was shot through the head by a friend of his and he appears fine, that maybe he wasn't as dead as he appeared. So they have tried to follow up before a slaughter of innocents ensues.
What? Yeah. So I guess I want to listen to see if I hear screams in the distance or him breathing heavily nearby. I don't know.
Sure. Give me a listen check.
Holy shit, this got a lot scarier.
Yeah, it won't work.
You don't hear anything unusual. It's all pretty quiet. I mean, if you listen hard, you think you can occasionally hear some movement, like maybe upstairs. But down here in the morgue, it's, well, quiet like a morgue probably should be.
Is Adele with everyone, or is she somewhere else? Because I wasn't here.
Yeah, we'll say her with the group.
Okay.
You've been having a rough day.
Greg we grabbed her once we got back to the hotel, and we realized, oh crap, that guy is probably not really dead. And we grabbed her to bring her to the hospital with us.
You're looking very pale from the 48 hours of nonstop diarrhea you had, but aside from that,
All I
Monster
did was
misery.
put on this ring I found in a bathroom. I don't know what happened. It was weird. All right,
don't eat found burritos.
Adela's going to take out a small amethyst crystal on a chain and start to swirl it around because she's going to like use the occult to divine where this fat vampire may have gone.
Sure, give me an occult roll. Works for me.
To be noted that Wentworth has reached in his breast pocket. Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's a real good crystal.
It apparently is a real good crystal. You kind of gesture everyone to hold still. Don't disrupt the energy flows in the room. And there is some skepticism, but then they've been dealing with fat vampires, so crystals? Who knows? You go through your process and you don't realize it. The crystal has absolutely nothing to do with anything. This is all just you. But it is 100% working. After a moment, you can feel the auras of your companions. You can feel Jackson Elias standing out in the hallway, keeping watch. You can even feel the charge nurse at the desk upstairs very faintly. You can sense a variety of auras of different strengths and colors, presumably from the actual hospital beds. They feel like people who are unwell, who aren't happy, who are ill or otherwise injured. You concentrate for a long couple minutes, and you pick up nothing else.
What the hell?
I think he's gone.
Not out the
Maybe
way.
he's the one who went
You know,
back and got the worm.
With that success, I will even go so far as to say, retroactively, when you first met them at the Bar Cardano, you sort of instinctively got a feel for their auras, and you know De Mendoza exists in an aura sense. He's not aura invisible in some way. Nice roll.
Yeah.
Where's the nearest bakery? We need to find some fat people.
So he didn't walk out barefooted the double doors, and he's not in the room.
So Denny's gonna check real quick the under the sheets on each of the other gurneys, just like toss them back, toss them back, toss them back, just to see. Like, is one of them the nurse that's supposed to be here? Because we're missing one person in addition to De
Like
Mendoza.
the medical examiner, they might be home for the night.
The nurse was supposed to be working down here, and the desk was still lit.
The desk lamp was off.
Okay. Well, still, we'll just pitch him back real quick. Denny doesn't know that she rolled an 8, so
Sure.
just gonna pitch him back.
So you pull back the sheets enough to get a look at the faces, and the first thing you notice, no roll required, and no surprise either, De Mendoza is not among them. You don't recognize any of the people on the gurneys.
Are they clothed? Are they clothed or are they naked?
One is naked, the rest are clothed. The one who's naked has the sealed Y incision on the
Okay.
torso.
So he probably has his clothes on. Just
The others are still clothed. Presumably, they were brought in and have not yet been processed. They were dead on arrival, and the ME hasn't gotten to them yet, or something. But 4 of the 5 are still clothed. The naked one is an elderly man. There are 3 roughly late middle-aged dudes and 1 elderly woman on the gurneys.
Are any of them mummified?
I mean,
In a way that we
Yes.
saw previously.
yeah. None of them look quite like Rizzo, but they're corpses.
Yeah.
So Denny's gonna say, "Yeah, he's gone. We gotta get out of here."
But is there an exit that's not this door? Because how would he have gotten out? I didn't see any.
I mean, he
Yeah.
could have left before we got in. What do you mean? He could
There
have.
still would have been barefoot tracks, right?
Would
Well,
there?
he might
He could
have
have
had
still had his
shoes
shoes
and
on.
everything. If they haven't gotten to him yet,
That's a good point.
He could have just walked out,
That's a good point.
transformed back into non-leech looking face guy, and walked out.
What does the extent of this room look like at like a quick glance? Is it just one room in a basement with no windows, or is there jut offs or anything?
It is just one room. There aren't any windows. It's lit by an array of bare bulbs overhead, not lit all that well, but lit. There's the desk off to the left of the main doors as you walk in, sort of facing across, like as people walk in, they'd have to walk across the front of the desk. The person sitting there would see them. Behind the desk and off to, what would be off to the left of the person sitting behind the desk, there is a door to something.
Wentworth is gonna look at the door, raise an eyebrow, and nod.
Denny will go and ready to open the door.
What time of the day is it?
Like
Night.
8:30, getting on towards 9 o'clock at night, somewhere in there.
Would we expect someone to be here at the desk? Is that
We were
unusual?
Yeah, we were explicitly told that there was supposed to be a nurse working down here, who is nowhere to be found. The light is off at her desk, etc.
In her readings, would Adele have any familiarity with a fat vampire?
No more so than you've gotten from the local legends you've picked up and some of the research Wentworth did in the basement of the Archaeology Museum, which I will catch you up on out of character. We take a break in just a couple minutes when we find out what's going to happen here next.
One more time, what's the formal name for the fat vampire?
The Karasiri.
Karasiri. Okay.
Denny's gonna open that door, prepared to tackle a dude who's trying to escape.
All right. You open the door, readied for action. You get no action as you open the door. You're looking into basically a closet, albeit a fairly deep closet, that has shelves along the sides, on which are a handful of cardboard boxes with things in them. They're labeled with people's names.
You see De Mendoza among them.
Are you going in and looking?
Yeah, I'd go in and look to see if D. Mendoza is written on any of them.
All right. You do, in fact, find a box with De Mendoza, Luis written on it. It stands out a little bit because it's on its side and it's empty.
Son of a brick. So he's gone. He's out in the world somewhere.
Is there any paperwork on the desk, like a intake form?
There are stacks of papers on the desk. You can take a look through them.
Sure. So rifle through some papers.
You look through the papers. You don't find anything as formal as intake forms, at least in just your basic search of what's on the surface of the desk. You do, however, find just a list of handwritten name and time, just on a piece of paper, just listed, and you see De Mendoza's name on there with that would have been, we'll say, noon, written as the time. Which I will clarify I'm picking because you'd expect that to be when he came in, given when the events happened. That seems reasonable to me, but in case anybody had a different idea, this is not incorrect. That is when you'd expect him to have been brought in. There is no time listed for out.
Denny's going to lean back at Lois and say, Mendoza's going to have a heck of a story for his boss if he makes it back to his boss's room.
Kind of worry about the boss if that's where he's going.
Where's the person that's supposed to be at this desk? Are there wall
Yeah.
coolers? Like
What's
the,
that?
are there like, those coolers that you pull out and you put the corpse in and close it and it's a fridge?
No, this is just a tiled room with a floor drain, and at the moment, 6 gurneys.
I don't think he's here. I don't think he's in the hospital anymore. I think we should go back up to the front desk.
Yep.
Let the nurse know that he's
Where
not there.
What did he
And
do there?
that also the nurse isn't there. And did anyone matching his description leave the hospital? I mean, it's not like they got security cameras or anything. I can't check, but I'm sure there's a back entrance he might have gone out of, but we might want to check. And then I think we ought to go and get back to Larkin on the double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's get out of here. Get out.
Sounds like you've got a plan. We'll find out how that turns out in a few minutes. We'll take our break now.
Cool.
Back in some.
Matt, I just want to say that the audio tracks for this, like really all of the Cthulhu sessions are premium.
Excellent. I'm
I'm
glad
just
to hear that.
out to them for like 10 minutes.
I subscribe to a site called Epidemic Sound that does exactly this. Like you can get music tracks, sound effects, and the like that you can then use free of copyright concern wherever you like. So I've been grabbing those. So as I upload these to YouTube, I don't get copyright flags.
I gotcha. I found a site called Tabletop Audio, which I'm sure you're aware of. I just literally Googled D&D audio, and that's what I've been using for my sessions. But
Yep.
what's the
Tabletop
subscription
audio.
cost for what you've got?
Epidemic Sound is like $15 a month. Tabletop audio, if you want to patronize him, I think like $3 a month
Hmm.
gets you get the music tracks separated from the ambient.
Yeah,
And
I was debating that.
I've used his stuff extensively.
Excellent tracks. But
Yeah.
what you've got going here is you don't even need a map. You just need a picture and some music and the whole session set.
That's one of the things that makes running Cthulhu easier. Not a whole lot of making maps involved. Every now and again, if you've got a place to explore, that's one thing. But for the most part,
They're very good pictures too.
They are.
Match up to what we're talking about.
they are, aside from the couple maps you've seen, all of them have been AI generated
Awesome.
from another service I subscribe to called Midjourney, which is why, in a lot of cases, don't look at them in too much detail, because if you pay enough attention, they don't actually make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm just going for a mood anyway, so for the most part, works out fine.
I kind of like that though because it keeps it not specific, lets your mind fill in a lot of the gaps.
Yeah, for a
Yep.
while I was trying to figure out, is that a person or is that a coat hanging on a chair? Like, or both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there to kind of evoke a sort of scene. It's been really good for me for that, at least for Cthulhu it has, which is supposed to be a little off kilter and semi surreal anyway, so it plays into this really well.
Midjourney's the one was based in Discord primarily. Yes. Yeah. A lot of artists are not super happy about where all this is going.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am sympathetic to it. Like, no, you're right. But at the same time, like, I can't afford to commission an artist for all the art I want. Like, I don't have that kind of money, and I'm not going to pay someone an exposure or try and lowball them. When I need something specific, I'm working with an artist right now for a particular creature design, and I am paying her reasonably well for her art because I want something very specific. But I can't possibly pay her, nor can she churn out the art fast enough to support this. So,
And there's something really appealing with the idea of like the Cthulhu mythos of all the like weird stuff that your brain can't even really understand anyways. And then you get the weird like photos folded with other photos sort of, but it's all assembled. Like it's great. By the way, did we talk since we saw Color Out of Space
no.
with
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage in it?
I didn't know that movie existed.
Dude, neither did I.
Go watch
It was
some Cthulhu with
it
Nicolas
was
Cage.
one of the
Well,
best
not really
representations
Cthulhu,
of Cthulhu that I've seen.
Well, it's Lovecraftian
Or
horror.
that's what I meant, of Lovecraft.
Sure.
It's
ridiculous.
It's really good and ridiculous, but better. It's more really good than anything else.
It's a modern B movie. Like
Sure.
it goes all in on its
But it's awesome.
silliness.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I have
Color
no
Out of
problem with
Space.
modern B movies. Just, I've enjoyed all the Sharknadoes. Like, just be aware of what you're doing and lean into it, and I'm fine. Like, I'm not going to give them Oscars or anything, But I can enjoy that for exactly what it is. Like, yep, you know what you're doing, I know what you're doing, and here we go. It's a hoot.
Yeah, go check that out.
I will.
Matt, can you clarify something for me?
Sure.
You said everyone went down to the vault to look for Miss Rizzo. They found her mummified corpse, and a figure was running from the scene, and we chased. But then also, D. Mendoza was attacking the professor upstairs, so there are two people? Like,
No,
He
there
went
was time.
there was
The
what?
chase was not given immediately. The figure was noticed upon getting down there, and then there was looking around and some other things done.
Mm,
People were being cautious.
So we
got it.
assumed he went upstairs.
All right. That brings us to the morgue in the hospital basement, and your plan to head back out, talk to the charge nurse, and then go try and find Larkin. Yes?
Yep.
All right, so you all rush upstairs, and the charge nurse looks up from her desk over at you, hustling down the hallway.
So Denny will start by just saying he's gone. He wasn't dead. When did he leave? Just like dump it all on her instantly.
She primarily just looks confused. When did who leave? What?
All right, that body we were looking for in the morgue, it's not there. It looks like there was maybe a body there and it is not there anymore. Did a guy come through here? Skinny, pale, greasy black, stringy hair. You see anybody like that? Probably didn't look too healthy.
She kind of frowns and looks sort of confused at what you're saying is going on here, but apparently willing to entertain the question at least. Like many people have come through here. I think maybe yes. This description is not terribly detailed, you understand. Thin,
Then,
pale, dark haired. I think yes.
Denny just says bah and runs out the door and stands outside holding the door open, looking to see if he can spot David.
How long
Wilson.
ago did you see him? Just can you think how long ago you might have seen this
I
character?
didn't make particular note of it.
Before dinner or after?
Yes, after. So no more than 2 hours ago.
Ugh, it's a lot of time. Also, there was no nurse down there. Do
She
you
looks
think
frustrated. She left again? I swear I'll get her fired if she keeps doing this.
so? She does this often?
All the time.
Okay. If you know any way to go check on her, maybe do that. This character we were looking for was maybe a dangerous person, so I would check on her safety before you start getting too upset with her. Okay? Do you know where she would be? Where does she go when she leaves?
She looks at you a bit skeptically. Like, I assume she goes to her home.
Okay. It gets late. She takes off early. Do you know where she
All the
lives?
time. She considers her job is done for the day, so she leaves. She's supposed to stay at the desk and monitor.
Okay.
That would
you
be a
know-
boring job.
Hmm?
I was just saying that would be a boring job.
Boring job for which she is paid. Do not pay her to go home.
Okay, she probably just went home early, but someone needs to check up on her. Do you know where she lives? Give her home address?
I have no idea where she lives. I can talk to the director tomorrow. Presumably, we have records of this somewhere, but I do not know where.
Right, maybe we'll come back and check in tomorrow. But for now, we're gonna
Very
go and
good.
see if we can find our Walking Dead.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to find him either, kind of, but All right. I'm gonna run out the door. Thanks.
You're welcome. You just see her kind of shaking her head as she turns back to the paperwork on her desk.
Tourists. They're always doing this.
So where to?
Larkin in a hurry.
Absolutely.
Check. So where to?
Oh, the hotel?
Yeah.
Larkin is a person.
Yes.
Yeah, the hotel. The only
Okay.
place we know where he would be.
Larkin's in the nice hotel. So not our hotel, but
Right.
Larkin's hotel.
Cool. Can do. Let me pull that up. All right,
There
so
would-
you are back at the Hotel España.
There would presume the ship that he has docked, or like the wherever the expedition is heading from. Do we know where that is explicitly?
Yeah, it'll be. You've been told the expedition will be leaving from here 8 o'clock Monday morning.
Okay. There's not like a secondary location that we could check if he's not here.
It's still Saturday night, yeah.
Yes, it is. It is Saturday night right now. Cool. So Elias is familiar with which room Larkin is staying in. He had been casing the joint earlier when he figured out when he was trying to figure out why you hadn't been booked rooms in this hotel, and found out that there were in fact empty rooms. So he can tell you that up on the third floor is where Larkin is staying.
Wentworth is gonna look over at Denny and just like continue hoofing it to the stairs or elevator or whatever it may be. Like, are we doing that? Are we going straight to the third floor? What are we doing here?
I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. So you head up the stairs at a good clip, and he points you to rooms 305 and 306. And it says 305 is where De Mendoza was staying, and 306 is where Larkin has been staying.
305 would be my guess.
305 is where,
To Mendoza.
De Mendoza.
Yeah.
if he's in his own room, fine. If he's in Larkin's room, Larkin might be in danger. I don't know. My priority would be to check on Larkin.
Then he's gonna knock on Larkin's desk or door.
All right. You knock on Larkin's door. No answer.
Break it down.
Yeah. Denny will try the door.
It's locked.
You want me to try picking at it? Or do you want to just put your shoulder into it?
Pick it. Pick the lock.
I'll give it a go.
We've knocked, so whoever's back there doing nefarious things may now know.
Nice.
Nice.
What?
But not nice enough.
Oh, I don't even look. I just saw red. Nerds. Okay. Denny?
Yeah, Denny's gonna smash it open then.
All right. Yeah, give me a strength check with a bonus die. These doors are pretty flimsy.
Hey.
Nice. So in one go, you your shoulder into the door, and it just pops. The bolt just pops through the door frame. The doors themselves feel nice and solid and heavy, but clearly the frame is not as strong as the door. So you find yourself in the room. As soon as you get in, you are assaulted with the smell of stale sweat, like sick sweat. The room is a mess. Just a mess. The bed is unmade, the coverlet thrown back. You can see like dark staining on the fabric of the sheets that are on the bed. Various pieces of luggage are strewn around the room, open pieces of clothing and various items out on the floor, some on the foot of the bed, some just crammed into suitcases. There's a nightstand to the right of the bed that looks like it's been pushed off kilter. There's a door to the bathroom on the back wall that's closed. There's a door to the balcony on the left wall, a glassed-in door. I think that, yeah, that's all that's notable in the room, aside from just the overall messiness of it.
Denny's gonna go straight to the door to the outside, the door to the balcony. Not to leave, but to get to that door, and while going through there, just keep an eye on the rest of the room on the floor. See if there's anybody on the floor or anything like that. But post up on the door to the balcony.
So you look out the door to the balcony. The balcony itself is empty. If you test the handle, the door is unlocked. Turn back to the room, scan the rest of the room. You see overall just the mess, obviously, but nothing otherwise untoward.
Wentworth is going to have reached in his breast pocket and pulled out a shiny brass knuckle set and affix it to his right hand and slowly walk to the bathroom door, put his hand on the handle, and like look back to the rest of the group, like, be ready, and then crack it open and push forward.
You open the door to the bathroom, push in, and the bathroom, if anything, is worse than the rest of the room. There is in here, beyond the smell of sick and stale sweat, there's a faint odor of rotten meat. The sink has got stains running down from the edges down into the drain. The bathtub looks like it's been used recently. It's got some moisture pooling in the bottom. You presume it's water, but it's turbid. Just this, even the little pools you can see aren't clear, and there's just a solid ring of something clearly that matched the top of the water level at one point. But there is nobody in the bathroom.
Are these signs of like what would be malaria of the like, is this as morbid as malaria typically is, or is this something worse?
You can give me a medicine roll.
Like, this just sounds more morbid than what Jake would think malaria is, but I don't know if Wentworth. All right, let's see if I can get a 1, guys.
Does anyone have any medicine?
You're not sure.
Can Adele use her knowledge of the natural world?
Sure.
Is this a normal illness? Hey.
Yeah. You're not a doctor. You haven't treated or known anybody with who's suffered malaria, but you're vaguely, well, more than vaguely, familiar with it, sort of in concept, just from traveling some and talking to people. And yeah, this seems extreme for malaria. Not necessarily impossible, you don't think. Maybe a very long term, really severe case, but man, it stretches plausibility for this to just be malaria. And you'd expect, if it was some kind of malaria that led to this, you wouldn't expect him to be walking around at all.
Would you describe him as wasted a little bit more than a walking corpse?
Walking corpse would be a bit much. He looks fairly gaunt and unhealthy when you've seen him.
Shit. Are these rooms conjoined by a door? Or are they two separate rooms?
They're separate rooms.
Okay. Realizing that there's nobody in the bathroom and the balcony door is covered, Wentworth is going to pick up to a light jog, exit the room, wrap to the next door, and check his strength quickly before he blows through the door and breaks
on.
his.
Can Lois like listen to see if she can hear anything on the door? Like, I'm not gonna try to pick the lock. I just want to know if I can hear anything in here.
Sure. Give me a listen check. You don't hear anything.
I guess go for it.
All right.
Strength check with a bonus die.
Lois is gonna take her knife out. Be ready.
Wentworth like high knees it back just a little bit, backs up, and then old man shoulder into the door.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. No problem at all. You blow through that door, the bolt tears through the frame, and you find yourself in this room. By contrast to the previous room, this room is immaculate. It's clean, tidy, everything's in its place, the bed is made, neat as a pin.
Almost like nobody's actually living there.
Same layout.
Yep, essentially identical.
Is the door to the bathroom closed?
Door to the bathroom is closed. This one doesn't have a door to the balcony. That would be
Okay.
on a wall that is not an exterior wall, but the bathroom door is closed, and that is at the back of the room.
Hmm.
I guess.
All right. Yeah, Wentworth is just gonna go open that as well. Brass knuckles ready.
You open the door to the bathroom, nobody in it, and much like the main room, spotless.
Well, if anyone needs to use the bathroom, I guess I'd do it here. Nice bathroom.
We can
I
come
have
back and investigate
excessive
this.
diarrhea, so you know,
Yeah.
out of my way.
I think we need to go back to Larkin's room and investigate for clues to see if he's
Yeah.
left on his own volition or has been taken.
I don't know where else to check.
Or maybe he's just enjoying an evening's smoke on the town.
Or if, he's some sort of boogie boogie man with powers, maybe he's drawn towards gold bars or swords or something. So, and yeah, we should investigate, but then maybe we should, check out our own place too.
Got the bar on me, just so everybody's aware.
Yep.
Oh, you put it in your satchel. That's right. I thought you put it under the bed.
The sword, however, is under the bed.
Yep.
Yep.
Going back to Larkin's room.
Yep.
All right. So, taking a moment to look around, even without any kind of intensive search, you find on the nightstand a small stoppered glass bottle next to a hypodermic. You've got Spanish, so you can read the label on the bottle. It is heroin.
I fucking knew it, that bastard. Hmm.
Yeah. So then, if you want to go ahead and make a spot hidden just to toss the room, and if people are helping, you can have a bonus die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're all
Will help.
helping.
Who's got the best spot hidden? I got 43.
That's fine.
I assume that's allowed as long as we can like communicate like, hey,
Yeah.
okay.
You all know what each other are relatively good at. That's fine.
I'm no good.
50.
50. So.
Yeah, do that.
Bonus die.
Yeah.
Shit.
You search the room and don't find anything else of interest in here. It's not a pleasant process. As you're grabbing things, the mattress isn't just stained, it's damp and almost oily to the touch. As you move things around, the smell just gets worse.
Wentworth
So,
is. Oh, sorry.
I mean, does this seem like, I mean, it's not malaria, but does this seem like heroin sickness either?
No, you don't even need a roll for that. This is not. You've seen people using heroin, and even at the point where somebody begins to have physical symptoms, they're either overdosing and shortly dead or catatonic. He's too functional to have this be the result of just heroin.
Man
What
is melting.
what does Mendoza look like? Is he fat?
No, he's the skinny, pale, black, lanky hair guy that was with them at the very beginning.
Yep.
And
He's
to
kind
be
of unpleasant looking.
to be fair, they're not like drawn to like overweight people because the assistant wasn't overweight if I remember correctly. They just suck the actual fat out of random people.
I was
As
just
far
wondering,
as we
like,
can tell.
I was thinking that might be Larkin curbing his cravings with heroin. And if he's not eating, then he
He's
wouldn't be
melting.
fat. And if Mendoza is eating, he's fat.
I don't think either are fat. Larkin may be slightly overweight.
Yeah, he's probably not overweight, but he's got that like thin flabbiness to him.
Wentworth is going to, so there is a small jar of heroin and in powder form or liquid form. I don't think it matters too
Liquid.
much. Okay. And then a needle as well.
Yep.
Wentworth is going to pocket both of those and look at the rest of the group. Like, I'm not using this, but it's good to not be laying out on the countertop.
Note that heroin is not illegal.
Sure. But it may be good to subdue somebody if we need to, stop some super
And just
strength
in
vampire.
case you were concerned about evidence, heroin is a perfectly legal thing.
Is there any, like, quinine in here? Like, I don't know if Lois would know that's how you treat malaria, but I mean, is there any malaria medicine here?
Not that you found.
Hmm.
There's certainly. I mean, you definitively know there isn't any place that you'd expect someone to keep medications. You search the room, you know that there isn't any in like a medicine cabinet or a shaving kit. There could be some tucked away that you didn't find, for all you know, but there definitely isn't any like stored like medicine would be normally.
Mm.
I guess we ought to, should we get Denny and go back to our hotel? Is he at our hotel?
I mean, he hired us to do a job. He hired us to go to the pyramid. Is there any information in his room, like background readings about the pyramid, books?
A map.
Yeah, anything, other artifacts.
Not that you can find.
One of the main concerns is that we came to him to warn him about his right-hand man being murdered, and now his right-hand man is unmurdered, but probably is going to be able to tell him that we're the ones that murdered him.
Or is murdering him as we speak. Either he's in cahoots and he knows now, or they're not in cahoots and he's being murdered.
Right.
Yeah.
Or he's ransacking the office at the school trying to find the gold thing.
We're all just bouncing around from place to place.
Just missing each other. I mean,
Should we
are we assuming did he free the little worm?
Should we check the front desk?
Yeah, to see when he checked out. If he checked out. Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's as good as anything.
If Wentworth cannot get out of this room fast enough, it smells terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done in
It
here.
is. It's bad. The contrast between the two rooms is stark.
Wentworth does want to take a gander at Dan Mendoza's room. Perhaps he left something in there, some clue or I don't know, a telltale.
Give me a spot hidden with a bonus die, in fact, because the room is very tiny and easier to look through. Nice. So you look through the room, and in a sense, there's no evidence of habitation. But you do find underneath his bed.
Common hiding place.
One sec. Get this available to you. Like so. You do find a mask. Which, let me look up the exact description that I thought I had written down and apparently don't. Cool.
Gold-backed mask.
Yep. I apologize. I thought I had this noted here, and instead I don't. Yep, it looks like a mask, stylized face, sort of blocky shapes. I'm basically what you're seeing. No eye holes, no eye holes. The back of the mask is undecorated, but gold and polished to a very high sheen. You can see a reflection in it, in fact.
Back and then the front of the mask.
The front of the mask is also gold, but it's not as polished. It's got some designs worked into it, but
Okay, so one side shiny smooth, other side
yep.
outer
The
side.
inside is polished to a literal mirror shine. You can't see your reflection in it. The other side is, finished gold. It's not like just ore or anything, but nowhere near as polished.
Creepy.
Hmm.
Would Adele recognize any object like this from her occult readings?
Maybe you can try and examine it. Give me an occult roll.
Adele will examine the mask.
Nice.
Super good.
Nice. Okay. You recognize some similarities here to artifacts that are believed to have mystical properties that are associated with the Tiwanaku dig, a pre-Columbian archaeological dig in western Bolivia. You're examining it, and you're looking at the art on the front side, and you're examining the back, trying to pick up any mystic vibes. If you can give me a power roll.
Power roll. Power.
Yep.
What is that?
Ow.
What's power? I don't have power as a.
To the
It's
Tell
top.
me your attributes at the top. POW.
Oh.
Oof.
So you're holding the mask and looking at the mirrored side, and you're staring at it, and you don't realize how long you've been looking at it, and suddenly you feel thoughts just blow through your mind, images, impressions, almost too fast for you to really grasp. You see an ancient stepped pyramid on a plateau, and as you're looking at it, it begins to break apart, greasy white tendrils erupting through the stone and flailing out at the air before falling to the ground. Cracks appear in the surface, and hordes of enormous maggots just flow down the sides of the pyramid before it vanishes. You're inside a train car looking out a window, seeing the sweeping vista of the African plains hurtling by as you travel at great speed. Smoke, the strong smell of smoke assaults your nostrils. You begin to hear the sound of screaming. You see your own hand reaching out, touching a large red rock. It's warm to the touch. Everything is brightly lit, almost too bright. Your eyes almost hurt. Next to the rock that you're touching, a black pit just yawns, descending far, far beyond what you can see just looking into it. You look up at the sky and you see the sun overhead. You're staring at it, but it's not hurting you. You're looking directly at the sun. And as you do, it begins to go black, and black tendrils and tentacles extend from the disk of the sun over the sky, just beginning to engulf the world you can see. And poof, you're thrown back, and you're just looking at this golden mask in your hand.
Trippy.
Hey, how you doing, honey? You had a weird look on your face all of a sudden.
Yeah, from everybody else's point of view, Adele was looking at it, examining it, turning it over in her hand, looking at the back, and suddenly just stood stock still for 4-5 seconds before resuming motion.
I can taste the future.
All right. It's always talking. What do you know what this mask? Do you know anything about this mask?
It's I mean, I'll tell them the historical significance with the other dig site, but there's something about it. I don't know if it's showing me the future, things that could be, things that definitely will be. But there's a powerful force connected to this mask.
Like, like your crystals and whatnot? Mm.
Even more
Oh.
so.
Lois is just going to assume this is more stuff from Adele that maybe we'll just take with a grain of salt.
Probably not safe to have people look into the mirrored side of the mask. So if we have something to wrap this up, like she'll take a pillowcase off the pillow and wrap it. You should be very careful with this. It's a very powerful item.
Want to hold on to it then?
After seeing that horrible shit. Not really.
Wentworth opens up his satchel and kind of taps on it, and holds it open. You could store it here.
There you go. She'll give it to Wentworth.
Satchel of fun here.
Satchel of doom.
Noting, so there are separate compartments inside the satchel, separated by a leather strip. He puts on the opposite side of the gold bar,
Sure.
not knowing that if they touch or whatever. Yeah.
Go.
The gold strip is 2 feet long.
Yep.
Does it look like it would fit with this mask? Like on it?
No, you don't see anything on the mask such that it looks like this could attach to it or be related to it in any way other than they're both made of gold.
The letter that we had read earlier said it was pried out of the wall or the ground or something in the temple. Not to say that the mask wasn't either, but not a step closer to our dead friend, though.
It's cool
We
stuff.
We should jog down to the front desk to see if they've left in a conspicuous manner.
That's what we're
And
doing?
Yeah, Wentworth's leaving
Denny-
the room.
Denny will rush down.
All right. So you go to the front desk. There's a gentleman working there, looks up at you and asks if he can help.
Say, looking for our two friends, but they seem to have maybe checked out. Do you know? Have you seen them leave?
Well, sir, I'm sure you can appreciate I don't feel free to share the comings and goings of our guests.
Sir, and then Wentworth puts his hand on the table and then slides it away from the desk, and there's a business card, of course, in gold leaf.
Not money.
Wentworth Avebury, banker at large.
Correct. And it's got, like a little phone number and an address. But he goes, listen, we were set for an expedition. It was supposed to set out soon. We just want to know if our employer has left without us or not. And then he mentions Larkin.
We also think he might be in some danger. Like,
Well, I can tell you, as you could just see from the guest register, he has not checked out. But I can't speak to his personal travels.
Did you see him leave the building?
I'm not comfortable answering that question, sir.
hey,
about-
listen. And Lois slams the desk and says,
Ooh.
this guy's in danger. You need to stop trying to be proper here. This is life and death here we're talking about. Intimidate, I guess.
Roll your intimidate.
Dang it. Bad roll.
If you believe he's in danger, I'm sure you consult with the constabulary. And if they were to arrive and inquire as to his whereabouts, I would give them all the information I could, certainly. But I'm sure you understand, I can't simply tell everyone off the street where our guests are going or whether they're coming or going or their personal schedules. That would be an extreme violation of our guests' privacy.
All right, I guess you're just doing your job. All right.
Under his breath, Wentworth, still brass knuckles attached to the hand that he put down with the banker card, goes, I've got an extreme violation for you, and walks away.
The front desk person looks taken aback, actually takes a half step back from the desk as you walk away.
Well, shit. So they're not here. They're not at the hospital. I'm almost half tempted not to go back to our hotel.
Where's Denny? I can't remember.
I came down with.
Yep.
What?
Unless somebody says differently, I assume that you're sticking together.
Okay. He's been quiet. I guess it's the only. I mean, where else would he go?
I mean,
Okay, so yeah, the museum or our place.
or the pyramid.
We don't know where no pyramids are. Like, they were supposed to lead us there.
Yeah, if they've set off to the pyramid, well, the professor
If
may
they set
know.
up the pyramids, then they can have the
The
pyramids.
professor wanted to go to the pyramids too. We could try to get the professor.
So it occurs to me that our friend D. Mendoza is something not of this world and very difficult to kill. Since we don't know how to do that, maybe there's information out there that could help us with that. I'm going to try and go to the library and crack
Kinda
open some books and really just try and absorb the culture of the area and hopefully come away with some helpful information about how to subdue our friend.
Sweetie, we can do that first thing in the morning. Right now, the library's closed.
Yeah,
At the
at this
mention
point,
of
it's after 10 o'clock.
Oh, rats. I was going to say, at the mention of a library, Wentworth would have stowed his brass knuckles and put his hands together in a clasp and been very excited to go to the library.
Wentworth, with your brass knuckles, the library isn't closed.
Did you see the way I opened that hotel door?
I mean, there's no cameras. There's no security system. It's 1910. Library.
They may have dogs.
Breaking into the library. Let's.
B&E, breaking an education.
Are you guys? Is the plan to go back to the hotel then and try to resume something in the morning? And go back to the school?
Adele, are you really good at reading a whole bunch of books in Spanish? Because all books are going to be in Spanish, and you might need the help of a librarian, and they may be more amenable to you if you haven't broken into their library in the middle of the night.
Oh, no worries. I know Spanish.
Okay, I suppose we should go back to our hotel and have a siesta. But
Midnight siesta.
there have been some strange goings on, so I don't know if it's safe for us to be in separate rooms.
I mean, probably fine.
Wentworth is going to have his own room.
Yeah.
He's an old man that needs things that old men like peace and quiet,
Butterscotch.
and that as well.
And ointments. They're very smelly.
Well, okay, but if anyone has any trouble, just yell.
You'll be the first one we'll call. So, I guess, yeah, we should check. Let's check Wentworth's room. We'll check under your bed, make sure your sword hasn't turned into a ghost, demon, vampire, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we'll get some sleep and hit the library in the morning. And maybe.
No, to be fair, I have the sword, I have the gold bar, and I have the mask now, all in one old man's room. It could be an easy steal. Maybe want to break these things up so they can't take all the goods in one go if they come for me in the night.
All right. We'll split it up once we get to the room.
Okay. Just talking about these things on the walk back.
Yeah, this is Adele's first experience with supernatural in a bad way. So she believes everything 100%, but it's all been good. So she is scared.
Starting back to your hotel?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Do I have? Thought I did.
Idea.
Oh, there we go. So you find yourself back at your hotel. You can break up into whatever groups, rooms, or conversations you would like, obviously.
Just gonna
And-
check the rooms, make sure that D. Mendoza hasn't come back for his sword or something.
Yeah.
Let's check Wentworth's room.
I'm currently
Sure.
on a black screen, by the way.
Oh, I see. Yeah, sorry. That's my bad. I have the vision set up incorrectly on this scene.
All good.
That should do it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you split up the items as you choose.
I think
And then,
Wentworth is going to hold on to the gold bar and offer the mask back over. And then give the sword to Denny, because he seems like a sword kind of guy. Also, he won it by combat. Well, you guys both won it, but
And Adele can keep the mask then.
You want it? Take it if it makes you uncomfortable. You looked a little spooked by it.
No, I suppose I am, with my deep understanding of the supernatural world, I am probably the best person to have this mask. So, with great power comes great responsibility. Take my mask.
all right. So Denny's got the sword. Wentworth has the bar, and Adele has the mask. Yes.
Yep.
Cool. And what are the sleeping arrangements? Wentworth, you're in your own room. Understood.
Adele, you're okay? You want someone to keep you company?
No, I suppose I'll be okay. I'll just, make sure to set my room up in a very secure way, and I'll call if I need anything.
Okay, I'll be right next door. We'll say.
Barricade her door, barricade the window, whatever. Like set up whatever little trap she can with glasses and spools of thread and shit. And then when she feels the room is secure, she's going to take out a variety of crystals and tiny silver bells and shit and do a cleansing ritual on the mask.
Excellent. You perform a cleansing ritual on the mask. Are you looking into the back of it while you try and cleanse it?
No,
Okay.
nope,
Just checking.
nope.
All right. So then what we're gonna do
Go in the
as we're sleeping here, if you open your character sheets, I'm going to put us into the development phase, and we can attempt to see if you get any skill improvements overnight.
Right, so I don't think any of my boxes got. I was checking them manually, so.
oh shit.
Oh, I wasn't
And you
checking.
can roll and adjust manually. I think in development you can check if you have them ticked, if you've got those little suns
Yeah.
yellow. I
Last time,
think you can just click that, and that will kick off development for that skill.
Nice.
okay.
There you go. Jake got 6 points in archaeology.
Beautiful.
Okay. So we have to lock it and then click the sun?
Yes. Yes. If you're going to do it manually, you'll want to unlock to do the adjustments. If you've got them ticked here, then
The ones I don't have ticked, I can't manually tick them. I need spot hidden and history.
all right. So then just roll a d100 and see if you get over your spot hidden and over your history.
Mine says XP gain disabled.
See what happens if I.
Did you say D100?
Yeah.
Nope. It looks like I rolled them for you, Adele. Sorry. Holy balls. You got 10
Yeah.
points in psychology. Nice. Apparently, you can roll all of them at once if you hit the development phase button on the very left of the character sheet about halfway down, which isn't there for you anymore, Katie, because I clicked it.
So do I need to like refresh? Because the new numbers aren't reflected on my. What? Let's try
Your psychology was 25 before? No. What do you see your psychology as right now?
25.
That's the updated number. It was 15 and has been increased by 10 points.
So I'm just gonna roll.
Your psychology went from 15 to 25. Your fighting brawl went from 25 to 32. And your archaeology went from 31 to 35.
Okay.
You should be able to see that card in the chat.
Cicely, on your character card, are you in the development phase right now? Does it say development?
No, I'm on skills, and it's locked. So I was trying to click the little sun button on anything, but nothing happens when I click on those.
It doesn't say development to the left of that.
It says it's just not highlighted. If I click development, then I'm in.
If you just click that and then go down right below that to development phase and click that, it should roll everything. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but I have things that were upgraded that because I couldn't. It
Right.
wasn't doing my sheet, so I'm trying to.
I
So
gotcha.
yeah, you have to do those manually.
Oh, the 78 was history, and that didn't do anything. And then
No, the history does. If it's what's your history? Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong sheet.
my history's like 5.
Oh yeah, then 78 increases it. You're trying to fail. You want over. And if you get over, then roll a d10 and add that number of points to it.
Oh,
The idea is the lower your skill is, the more likely you are to get better at it if you succeeded at something.
okay. So
So add
add
7 to your history.
and then I had one more. Hidden, yeah.
That is presumably not higher than your spot hidden.
No, right. Yeah. Okay, and then brawl, it just did it.
Yep, it rolled, and it did not roll higher than 80.
Okay. Right. Then I just need to unlock and change history to.
Yep, add 7 to it.
Under the development phase button, there's also recover luck points.
Yes, also hit that.
Everybody?
Yep. Nice, Wentworth.
I'll take it.
Unlucky at luck. That sucks.
You have a lot of luck, which makes it really hard for you to increase. Lois got unlucky at luck.
Yeah.
And so then everything gets unchecked now, right?
Yep.
So my brawl is still checked, has the sun. So when does that?
That should have come off already. I will manually adjust that because something is going on with your
Yeah.
skills checking. I recall that now that they were not auto-checking. You weren't able to check them for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Let me check permissions. Make sure you're owner of the. Yeah, you're the owner. Between now and next session, I may recreate your sheet on a clean character just in case something got weird somewhere.
God, this music is so good.
I'm glad it is going over well.
Your luck is 90?
Lucky
Good
son of a
lord.
bitch.
Just to make you aware, you may already know, but you can use luck points to, like if you roll an 80, but you need an 85, or if you roll an 85, but you need an 80, you can spend 5 luck points to basically supersede that roll.
You can also, as long as you have at least 30 luck, if you take enough damage to just kill you, you can spend all your luck and not die. Then you have to explain what exactly happened that caused you to not die.
With 90 points of luck, you could just say, I'm lucky.
Go higher than.
Did you try doing it automatically?
Yeah, did you hit the development phase button on the left of your sheet?
And then development phase underneath that. There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
And then hit the recover luck also.
That's 2
You
rolls
rolled
spot
a
on.
70. Sorry, that sucks.
Can you
That's okay.
add a luck point to that?
No, you can't.
And then
You cannot spend luck points to improve luck rolls or improvement rolls in general.
can you unflag my brawl and spot hidden then?
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, I think that's everybody set. You wake up the next day, unmolested. Nobody breaks into your rooms. Nobody has been assassinated. It is Sunday morning. The expedition is scheduled to leave from the front of the Hotel España Monday morning at 8 a.m. You have a day.
The library.
Museum. I wouldn't mind talking to the professor again.
My bad. I missed that one earlier.
That's okay. You're cool. So yeah, who's going where? Or if you're all going together, where are we going first?
I'll go to the library.
All right. So you ask around, find your way to the largest library in the area, which, not terribly surprisingly, is on the university campus. So you go to the University of Lima's library. And Adele, you're looking for information on the Karaseri, hopefully how to kill one.
Yes.
All right,
Or cure them.
fair enough. If Wentworth is willing to help, you can make a straight library roll.
Yeah, of course.
I closed
If you want to consult with a librarian, you can add a bonus die.
What's your library roll, just out of curiosity?
Library is 55.
Okay.
So yes, I will consult with the librarian. Wentworth can help. So that's one bonus die.
Yep, one bonus die, regular difficulty.
Okay.
Nice. So it takes you some time and some funny looks from the librarian as you carefully try and explain that you're, researching the mythology for a book. But you do dig up some traditional mythology, legends, folklore on the Karaseri. Unfortunately, it doesn't all agree. In some cases, people have written that a Karaseri can be permanently killed by beheading. Others maintain that the only way to be sure is to burn them. there are minor sources that indicate a variety of other much stranger things, including exotic weapons, strange poisons, that sort of thing. But you're only able to find those like in one-offs. The common themes.
And some heroin. We got exotic weapons
Yeah.
and poisons.
The common themes, the stuff that you feel rings through most of the stories, if not all, are either beheading or burning.
Be safe. Do both.
No, you did last night.
Is there any other specific information you were looking for?
Nothing about curing them.
No. Nothing indicates that once somebody has been all Karasiri'd up, that there is any coming back from it.
Okay. Anything on the pyramid?
You don't find anything new on the pyramid.
Curses in general?
Looking for curses, you don't find anything directly linked to the pyramid or any of the artifacts you are currently holding. Kind of cross-referencing Karasiri to curses, you do find some indications. It's a little tenuous, but you find some indications that a Karasiri may be able to turn a victim only intentionally. It can't happen accidentally. And it may be through the introduction of some kind of parasite.
Okay. Anything else, Wentworth, that you think we should look for?
Hmm.
I'm a little worried about our professor friend then.
But they got the. Oh yeah, we should check on him. But he threw the parasite cup.
Yeah, but
The parasite's missing now. Maybe with the police, but it also may be with our undead friend.
It's his baby.
Yeah, came out of him. Wrong end though. We should, yeah, I think we should head back to the school probably. I think we got as much info as we can here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I'm happy. I have libraried.
Excellent. So, I mean, you're on campus right now. Where are you headed? You're trying to head back to the professor's office?
yes.
As you explain you want to go there, Jackson will point out that he doesn't think the professor works on Sundays.
If we can figure out where he lives.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bullshit. Where's the nearest coffee shop? He's grading somewhere. I know it.
Jackson does say he knows where the professor lives, however, and could take you to his house if you're of a mind.
Let's go.
Good.
We've got
Okay.
time to kill.
Yeah, so we'll say that you did a chunk of research in the library. So by the time you've found all that out, we're probably getting on towards noon.
And this is Sunday, correct?
Yep.
Do we know we leave at dawn on Monday?
8 o'clock.
8:00 a.m. Okay.
So you head to the professor's house, knock on the door. He comes to it, answers, and you have found the professor.
Denny's gonna like right away sort of be monitoring for any existence of the parasite type movement on his skin or anything.
Sure.
On his skin?
Yeah.
I mean, he
That's
threw
what
it
saw
up.
before.
Or
Yeah, he did. And then we put it in a jar and put the jar in a drawer and the drawer in the rug, and all of that's gone now.
okay.
So like if he was really intent on getting him infected, then he may still be a risk. But then you'll
So as you're
start.
looking, it's going to be tough to see if there's anything moving beneath his skin in the situation. He's just fully dressed right now.
Right.
That said, he is not writhing on the ground in agony.
Right. But that's just one of the things that Denny's going to be sort of keeping an eye on. Any open skin, any visible skin or anything, just to make sure that he doesn't miss anything weird. He'll say,
Got it?
"Are you okay? De Mendoza's alive and missing."
So he answers the first question, saying that he's as okay as one could expect. It's been a fairly traumatic experience. He's not okay exactly, but he doesn't feel any more ill or injured. His reaction to the news that De Mendoza is alive is less positive. He looks visibly shaken when you tell him that De Mendoza is out there somewhere.
He's out there somewhere. Also, we can't find Mr. Larkin. And his room's a mess, and we think he's sick. I don't know. We're really worried.
Yes, he does suffer after effects of malaria, certainly. I know he is sick. I do not know where he is.
I mean, we're supposed to leave tomorrow
No,
on this
no.
expedition.
He's very sick. I think this extends past malaria.
I do not know of any other sickness he might have. I suppose he might have contracted anything. As you know, he and I do not exactly get along. I have not spoken to him in quite some time.
He and De Mendoza have left. Would you be able to take us to the pyramid?
I do not know the exact location of the pyramid. Um, so I could not take you there. I also am not myself equipped, either physically or, if I am honest, mentally, for an expedition of such length or difficulty, as much as I would very much like to see the pyramid. The prospect of running into De Mendoza again, or more of these things that apparently exist. No, I would not be joining you, but I do not know the location of the pyramid regardless. At this point, Jackson speaks up. Well, I may have a lead on that. Not a great one. Professor, I would have told you already if it had been a sure thing. But I did run into a wise woman up in Puno. Sorry, actually, it's down in Puno. Who she says she could tell me where the pyramid is. Maybe she's full of hooey, of course, but could be worth checking out if that's the route we want to go.
Professor, could you tell us any more about your experience with the police? What happened after we had left? What did you tell them? What did they ask about? So on and so forth.
Sure. To sum that up, he'll explain. He told them the truth as far as he knew it. De Mendoza came in, assaulted him, kissed him. He apparently blacked out for some period of time. When he came to again, he was leaning up against the wall, feeling terrible, and you and Jackson were doing your thing. He didn't have any more information than that. He wasn't able to tell them anything about Rizzo in the basement aside from explaining who she was and what she was doing. Indicates the police asked questions that seemed normal for a murder scene. At least seemed normal to him. He's obviously not a detective.
Did you stick around long enough for them to investigate the basement, or were you out of the building before they did any of that?
He doesn't know when exactly they investigated the basement. He was up talking to the inspector for some period of time. He imagines they probably searched the basement while that was going on, but he doesn't really know.
So you didn't see. Okay, so you didn't see any officers pull a jar out of the basement.
No.
Good to know. Well, be on the lookout.
He nods. I will. I will. Perhaps I can hire bodyguards. Yes. Some kind of security.
What else to ask him? Like, I'm a little worried that the parasite did a thing, but maybe the parasite never got a chance to do the thing it was supposed to do. How
Should
did you
we
guys get out of him?
Should we show him the mask? Because he had the gold strip, right? Wasn't that in his archive?
Stole it from his
We
office.
stole it from his office. Do not bring up the gold strip.
No, should we show him the mask?
Oh, the
Because he
mask.
had, because he had the
From what
gold
the-
strip.
supposed
He
to
may
say.
recognize.
It's not a bad idea. You brought it with you, kept it on you.
Yeah, in the pillowcase. So yeah, so Adele will like reach into her bag and pull out her pillowcase. Professor, we found an artifact, and I'm wondering if you can tell us a little about it. You know, perhaps whatever its magical properties might be. And she'll show him the mask.
So he takes the mask from you and begins looking at it, and with apologies, Adele, let's see if I can make this work. Hang on. I forgot to do something earlier.
Sanity roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Adele, if you can see if you can roll that button off the chat card.
Sand loss?
Yep. See if you can do that or not.
You don't have any controlled actor.
Oh, I have to put you on the scene. Interesting. Try now. There you go.
You were exposed to a traumatic event.
And roll your sanity loss. That button on that card. All right. But not enough for any kind of lingering insanity.
Always good.
So what happened? I'm confused.
So from looking at the mask and seeing the visions, I should have called for a sanity check, and I forgot about it. So we just did it now. And you
Okay.
lost 3 points of sanity, which in the event would have meant you were you lost control of yourself for a moment, which effectively you did anyway because you were stuck with the visions. So we're just going to call that even.
Where is sanity on my sheet?
We're in development still.
Yeah, I got to take you out of the development phase, so that's my bad. There you go. It should be on the left side.
Oh, okay, there we go.
That was my fault. It's only up when development is not on.
Okay.
Do we need to untick our little suns that we've got?
Yes, if they're still ticked, untick them. Adele's unchecked themselves, which is how it should work. I'm not sure why yours didn't. I'll have to play with that as well. Not that it's terribly hard to do it manually, but it should work.
It's telling me XP gain is disabled when I try to click them. Maybe it's the...
So the loss of sanity was from before, not now.
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, what
I
did I
have-
do? I didn't even take it out of the bag.
Untick them for you. I
Okay.
will spend some time figuring out that process better because I expect I just have the timing wrong somehow, but I don't know how right now. So the professor looks at the mask. Do you warn him about the mirrored side?
Yes.
Okay. So he does not spend any significant time looking at the back of it. Gonna have him make a roll. So he looks at it for a bit and sort of nods. Says, yes, this looks very much like what they've been finding at the Tiwanaku dig site. Bolivian. It's related to the Incan artifacts that we have been researching here, but not quite the same. Neither Tiwanaku to the Incan artifacts we have been retrieving, nor to this mask in particular. This is a very interesting piece. It is similar, and yet not quite what I would expect from the Incans or Tiwanaku. And he continues to study it. This is a fascinating find. If you would be so kind, if you would donate it to the museum, we would happily display this. And put your name as the finders of it. We could dedicate the exhibit to you.
Do we need it now though? Can we give it to you later?
It is yours. I have no claim to it. Just I would very much like to have it in the museum.
Maybe once we've figured out this whole mess, we'll bring it back to you. You can retire in the museum. But I'm not sure we're done with it.
Make sure you put it next to some of those fertility statues.
I do not believe we have any fertility statues on display currently. He semi-reluctantly hands it back. I mean, you can also bear in mind, this guy has just asked you to donate like a couple pounds of gold to his museum. Like, you want to just donate that, that'd be ace. Like,
All right, so nothing new.
no, I mean, he's able to identify that it is certainly similar in design, both to what they've been finding at Tiwanaku and to what his archaeological research in this area has found, but not quite the same.
Mhm.
He specifically identifies the polished back that he didn't spend a whole lot of time looking at, but just based on your description of it, like that's not normal for an item like this. And beyond that, an item like this, masks are not uncommon in Incan tradition, Incan ritual. A mask of solid gold,
Yeah.
even in a culture that used gold as extensively as they did, that amount in one item is still like, this would be a rare piece.
Mhm.
So we've lost track on Larkin. We've lost track on de Mendoza. Professor has no idea where or how to get to where we want to go. We've got a slight lead on an alternative if Larkin doesn't show back up. And right now we are watching our backs for de Mendoza, question mark?
Yeah, pretty much.
What do we, what are we gonna try to do with the rest of our day? Just continue looking or?
Do we know? We don't know where we were getting outfitted through, do we? So they're supposed to be what, pack animals, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plan was to go to Puno first, pick up any additional equipment, including pack animals, because the trucks can get you to Puno, but they can't get you anywhere past that. The plan was to go pick up pack animals, any additional gear or supplies, and then depart from Puno for the pyramid itself.
So I mean, I don't know how much money we have, but I don't know if we have that kind of money. If we needed to go ourselves. But if whoever has the pack animals, I mean, if they're waiting for us, I guess we could go on our own. Or we're going to just... So we could wait at the hotel on Monday morning, see if anyone shows up. If not, go to Puno on our own and see if the...
Jackson
is
nods
ready.
his head. Says, yeah, I feel like I didn't put much stock, as you know, in these Karasiri stories before. But I do now. And they've got something to do with the pyramid.
Do we
I
know where?
feel like the more we can find out about that, maybe even fix it, we need to get there.
Do we know where Hughes is? He's De Mendoza's buddy, right? Where's
Hughes is Jackson's alias.
Jesse
that?
Hughes equals Jackson Elias.
He's using a pseudonym with Larkin and De Mendoza, originally at least, in case either would recognize him as the author of various books on the supernatural and reject him from the expedition, afraid that he was doing an expose of some kind.
That's right. Okay.
My vote's for going back to Larkin's hotel, waiting in the lobby to see if he comes back at any point, and then just like waiting out until it's time for bed, basically.
Comes back for his heroin.
Yeah, I mean, originally he said that like if we're not ready when they leave, then we're just out of luck. Like we won't have to hang around extra to try and catch where they're going or whatever. If they're not there on time, then they're gone.
We do our own thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got nothing left I want to do in the city.
And if we go to Puno and they're not there, then we look up this lady. The wise woman.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so you're going to head back to the Hotel España and try and catch sight of Larkin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You go there, and we can skip forward through however much time you would like. You do not see him enter the hotel.
Those bastards left us.
Well, it's tomorrow, so
Yeah.
not yet. I should go to the dock.
Denny's gonna try and buy a drink from the hotel on the tab.
Mm.
They give you the drink?
They put the money on the tab.
Yep.
Okay, so
Tab's still open.
they think he's still around. Not necessarily staying, but at least staying enough.
I'll check upstairs and see if the room's any different or it's the same stinky mess that we left.
Sure. You head up to his room. The door is obviously still broken. You look in. It's tough to tell if anything is different. The room is still a mess.
Is the heroin bottle, like, I would assume if you're like taking regular doses of heroin, you'd probably want that.
Wentworth took the heroin bottle and syringe.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Never mind.
There's nothing here for him anymore.
I'm gonna go ahead and peek in the other room to see if like someone was looking for the mask.
You look into De Mendoza's room. Yeah, give me a spot hidden.
He wouldn't have left without the mask if it was important. Nice.
Nice. It's pretty subtle, but you're fairly certain the mattress is not in the same exact position it was when you left.
Mm.
Mm.
And
He's
this is
been
Larkin's room, not De Mendoza.
No, you just check De Mendoza's room. The mattress
Okay.
is slightly moved in De
Yeah.
Mendoza's room.
somebody wants his mask back. He's around. He's still in town.
We get his mask, his gold bar, and his sword. This guy does not like us.
Yeah, just, yeah. Hmm. Are there any other places in town we know exist?
Well, we know he's not going to show up to the 8 a.m. De Mendoza, at least.
Adele would want to find some sort of local holy person to bless us and protect us.
Yeah, I'd say that's easy enough. You can find somebody who will tell you that they are a mystic and bless you.
Adele knows a faker though, so she's looking for the real deal.
All right. So give me. Well, let me look at your sheet 'cause I don't actually know how to do combined rolls here. What I'm going to have you do is give me. Oh, because I'm on the wrong tool. I'm going to have you give me one roll. Go ahead and roll your occult. And you're effectively going to roll occult and psychology at the same time. And you will succeed on neither one or both of them, and you'll get results according to that. Yeah, it is easy to find someone who tells you they're a mystic and is happy to bless you. They've got a
Okay.
small wooden symbol in their hand, highly polished. They gesture in front of you, hold their hand out over you, and say, "Go with the blessings of the gods of the Incas."
All right. Cool. Well, I'm happy. We're great.
All right. Anything else we're doing, or just calling it a night and seeing what happens tomorrow at 8?
That's
Yep.
my.
I guess tonight Denny will pack everything up, like prepared to be on the move like he would have normally. But
All right. So you head back to your hotel, catch dinner, have a couple drinks, the usual, head to bed, wake up bright and early the next morning. Presumably, you all had your gear ready. You take your packs and bags and the various things that you provisioned and packed and head over to the Hotel España. You get there a little bit early, a 10 to or so, and you see in front in front of the hotel, a row of 3 trucks with various things in sacks and crates packed into the back of the trucks. Each has a driver in it. You assume these are the trucks for the expedition. You wait for a little bit and see what happens. 8 o'clock arrives, and exactly as it does, the front door of the Hotel España opens, and strolling down the steps comes Augustus Larkin.
What the
How's
fuck?
it look?
And with that, we're going to call it a night.
Oh, you
Ah.
bastard! No.
I don't know how he looks.
Leave him wanting more. He looks like he has before. He looks
Okay.
unwell. He does not look quite as unwell as he did when in his very frail state in the lobby yesterday when you went to find him. But he looks thin, pale,
Okay.
sweaty, ill. But he's got his usual warm, welcoming smile on his face. He looks happy to see you as he walks down the stairs towards you.
Crikey.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, then next week bring us back to Storm King's Thunder, and we'll figure out where we're going from there.
Perfect. Sounds good to me. Damn it.
So we are going to play with your parents here?
I intend to.
Okay.
I will have them watch one of our Call of Cthulhu sessions in preparation for making them play it on Saturday. I will insist.
Nice.
Cool. Well,
Oh boy.
good evening to all.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks guys.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Night.
Bye.